Well, well, well. Hello, everybody. Where's the music? Blah, 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 blah. Also, I need to fix something. Or I think it's fixed. Let me see. Because my YouTube, when I was typing in the YouTube thing, it wasn't popping up. Let me do a test message here. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Interesting, interesting. What does this mean? I type in the OBS chat, but it doesn't show up on YouTube. Uh-oh. Hello, everyone. Sorry. As usual, I'm starting off with a bit of technical difficulties and struggling through everything. So I appreciate it. It's nothing new. Hey, yo, Ayo, Ayo, Ayo X Avero says, I'll be off at 10:20 due to some business in school, but I'll watch sometimes if I can. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for letting me know. And don't ever feel obligated to tune into the stream. I mean, it's a blessing if you decide to hang out with me, right? But if you can't, I mean, that is life. So, but I'm here as much as I can. So whenever you can hop in, feel free to. Welcome, everyone. I'm just trying to fix a few things on my side. I don't know. When I type in my OBS, so I'm using something called Atum, A-I-T-U-M, and within there, there's like this kind of unified chat box. So usually when I type in there, it reflects onto my different live streaming platforms. However, right now it seems like my YouTube connection is not working. So bear with me as I struggle sitting my way through this. Guten Abend, Day Tour. Thank you very much for being here as well. How are you doing? You know, my friend, so I had a friend that stayed with me for the past almost 2 months or so. And she's Ukrainian originally, but grew up in Russia and speaks, and she's learning English and she's learning German. And she just finally got her visa and everything sorted. And she'll be moving to Germany. So, yeah, she's a fan. I'm a fan. I've been to Berlin one time, and it was a beautiful country, beautiful time, beautiful city. And that was, I remember thinking, because before then, that was, you know, I I went to work in San Francisco, and I lived there for, I think, like 4 to 6 years. I forget how long. But when I was there, I remember thinking, like, oh, yeah, of course, I'm in San Francisco. This is like the hipster city of the world, right? It's like the very hippie, hipster, whatever you want to call it. And then I went to Berlin and I realized how wrong I was. Berlin is like the true hip. I don't know if hippie is the right word, but it is the true hipster. I remember I was there. There's so many people. I was visiting a friend as well, and they were explaining to me how people in Berlin, they buy everything secondhand, third hand. They don't buy new things. They just like exchange stuff. So you'll find a couch on the street and then you just take it home with you. Or like it was like that kind of thing where nobody seems to flaunt, you know, buying the latest shiny object. It's like they were just kind of thrift shopping almost. And I don't know, I was just wandering around and it was very cool, the vibes that I got there. So anyways, very, very random tangent as I was trying to fix a few things here. Let me do one more test. Testing again in this chat box to see if it will also show up in YouTube. There we go. All right. We have officially fixed all of our tech stuff. How about the audio level? Let's see. I'm going to let just the music play for a second. So it's around like what, -35 to -40 or so? Okay, that's acceptable. And then my voice is hovering close to like what? The cap, which is like -5. All right. Oh, wait, hold on. I think I hear my echo. Give me a second. Testing, testing, testing. Okay, let's drop that down here. Cool, cool, cool. Boom. All right. Now I can start the stream. You know what? Let's start over real quick. Give me a second. Let's play this guy. Well, well, well. We just started the stream. Welcome for being, you know, thank you everyone. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. yeah, no tech issues, I think. So now if there's any issues, it's really just me being me. Dina Pi, what a name. Dina Pi says, hello, love your stream quality and lighting and everything. Nice and very cool. Thank you very much. Ooh, that's a awesome compliment to start off today's stream. So I appreciate you for saying that. Here, let me show you some other things. And by the way, there's so much more stuff that I need to do to improve the quality of my stream. And nothing makes me realize that more than when I do check out other people's streams. I was just watching Maple Glade's stream the other day, and like all the effects that he had going. I think when people type certain words, it would trigger sound effects. He was able to zoom in on his face at times, and I don't know, there's all these little things. I was like, okay, we do have some improvements to go. But Dina Pi, let me show you a few other camera angles that I've got. So this is one of my cats. This is Kimpop over here. He's the younger brother of the two cats. All that goes on in that beautiful mind of his is just food and more food. Yo, Cetris, it's like Tetris but mixed up. Cetris, thank you very much for the follow. Over on Twitch, yes, we're building up our Twitch channel. We are streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So wherever you're following me, I obviously appreciate it. YouTube is my main area. Hopefully you guys will watch all my videos there, like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And then my second cat, hold on, as I show my second cat, before we do, let me just catch up on, Ayo, you said I have a project in English where we have to record a video of procedure text. I have no idea what that is. Basically steps on how to make food. Ah, well, you explained the next sentence. Thank you. And I'm going to be the chef since my teammates can't cook. Oh man, I wish I was your teammate. I love free food, or when people cook for me. But that sounds kind of cool. I have no idea what you're talking about, but learning how to make food, why not? Dina Pi says, is that a catito? Catito. Cat-ido. Cat. Are you asking? You know what? Because someone else asked me, oh my God, I'm having deja vu. Someone the other day hopped into the stream and was like, oh, is that a cat? A catto? And I thought they were saying cat too. So I thought they were talking about my cat tattoos. Because I do have you just saw Kimpop. This is my tattoo of Kimpop. So Kimpop in Korean, because I am technically Korean, although I'm more American than anything. Kimpop is the Korean word for Korean sushi, which is my favorite food. So I don't know, don't ask why I named him after my favorite food, but there he is. To be fair, if Kimpop ended up being a ginger cat, I would have named him Kimchi. So it just happened to be he wasn't the right color to be kimchi, therefore he's Kimpop. So my tattoo became it's like a little, what do you call it, caricature of my cat, but he's dressed up like a sushi chef, and he's chopping up a bunch of kimbap. So I thought I was so proud of myself for the idea. And then I've got my other cat, which I'll show in a second, but yeah, she's on my other arm here. Oh my God, you can't see anything. This stupid mic. Ugh, there you are. There's Nala. So without further ado, let's show off Nala here. They're both sleeping next to me today. Yes, sometimes they just kind of wander off. They do be cats, but they're hanging out with me today. Let me go bother her. Let's do our little crane drop, claw drop. Boom. This is Nala. She's the older sister of the two. So these are the camera angles that I've got. I am a wildlife and travel photographer, and in the past 2 years, I've shifted more into videography, cinematography, filmmaking, whatever of those words make the most sense. That's kind of the direction I've gone into. So that's my quick little intro. Thank you for watching the stream. But yes, you asked, is that a catito? And either way, I've responded to both, both a cat tattoo and the two cats. Ayo says, I can't agree more with Dina. Thank you, yes. It's not my choice, says Cetris. They forced me to follow you. Who's they? And how do I pay them for forcing me to do that? I'm glad to hear they force you to follow me. Thank you very much. Dina Pi says, OMG, love Kimpop. What, the food or the cat? Either way, I accept. Yes, he's adorable. But honestly, sometimes I wonder if for the longest time, I didn't know if he actually cares about me or loves me, because he's not the most affectionate cat. He doesn't like being picked up or anything like that. He's a British Shorthair, and all he cares about is food. So the moment you say the right word or the food, is you bring out food and you show him the food, he freaks out, and that's all he cares about: food and playtime. So, yeah, but recently he started sleeping closer and closer to me, or if I go to the other room, he'll come in and he'll like, want to be close. So I'll accept that as a good sign. Randy C. Photo says, greetings, fellow humans. Greetings back at you. And Fed is in the chat over on YouTube. Howdy. Again, thank you guys if you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick. Yo, is that the Nikon Daddy? Wait, have I seen that name before? I don't think so. There's a Nikon Daddy. Oh my God. Can I clip this to send it to, so I can send it to Nikon? Wow, we've got the Nikon Daddy here. I thought I was the Nikon. Okay, I'll accept a lower title, but thank you for the follow. Well, we're starting off the stream with a couple follows already. Amazing. Thank you guys. AO says, I guess it's my time to depart. See you sometime soon. Yes, enjoy making food and do well in school, I guess. I'm sorry if I missed something. Fed says, is that He-Man Masters of the Universe armored vest you have on? Yo, oh yeah, this is the new purchase, the cotton carrier. So thank you. I think Fed, it might have been you or some other people. Swiss Army Cinema, I think, might have suggested it. But we've got a new gear for my upcoming trips for wildlife photography. So I figured since I have it on me, I just need to. It came with a few parts that I need to learn how to put together. It's like these little things that I gotta attach with some screws. Because my assumption is that this now becomes the plate that if I have a big ass lens, I can just snap it on there, and then I can go on a hike and it won't be as bad on my back. And I bought the version where it comes with the second camera pouch. So then if I strap it to the side here, then I can have two cameras on. I don't know if that'll end up being useful or not, but we do have that. We're gonna start off the stream kind of doing a little bit of a, I've already done the unboxing and I am wearing the stuff now just to test it out. But yeah, we'll see. Ayo says, always be in the spirit of making videos. You'll grow your channel over time and I'll be here watching your channel grow. Thank you very much for the words of encouragement. I'm very excited with the direction of my YouTube channel. So if you guys are new to the stream and if you happen to have a YouTube channel or you like watching YouTube videos, I do hope you'll head over to my channel. I'm going to go ahead and link it. And you can check out my latest video, which is the first episode of a new series that I'm doing on YouTube. It'll give you a good sense of the direction I want to take my channel, what's missing, and what my goals are for 2026 when it comes to being a creator. So yeah, hopefully you guys will check it out. The next episode is coming out tomorrow. I think I've got it scheduled so there'll be one video every week around this kind of behind the lens topic, where basically you'll just get a little bite-sized conversation from me with a unique camera angle and all that fun stuff. Nikon Daddy says, Randy on my alternative accounts. Yo, Nikon Daddy, it's just so funny to even say your name. But thank you. Oh yeah, Randy, I see you over on the YouTube. Yo, I appreciate it. Says, thank you for following me on both channels. Yo, that is the, wow, good support. Thank you. Randy Contello, are you, I should always ask this whenever someone follows me on either account, but are you guys creators yourselves or streamers yourselves? I obviously want to build a community. Hopefully I can watch you guys streaming as well if that's what you do. Feel free to join my Discord, which I just put into the chat, so we can build out a community of people, who want to support each other, be creators and all that. But yes, I can't believe we've got the Nikon Daddy. Well, you know what's missing? We need the Nikon Zaddy. I'm assuming there's one of those out there somewhere. And then obviously we need the Queen and the Bays and whatever else. And by the way, Nikon Daddy, aka Randy, but I'm never gonna call you Randy when you have a name like Daddy. That's so awkward. I do work with Nikon as a creator. I've been shooting with Nikon gear for the past almost as long as I've been in this kind of pursuit, in this passion. And I briefly mentioned, but yes, I am a travel and wildlife photographer. And recently going into cinematography, my YouTube channel, filmmaking and all that. So yeah, hopefully when you watch my streams, you'll get a bit of those types of flavors of how I make my videos. So for example, thank you very much, PR Yair over on the Kick side. Oh, okay, wow, we're getting some love across all the platforms. So thank you guys. Thanks, Yair. Cetra's with the epic emotes there. We do have our own custom emotes. So if you do end up, I don't know what it's called on, oh my God. If you subscribe to me on Twitch, then I think it unlocks some of those emotes. And obviously you help support the channel and all that. But we got our own cat emotes of Nala and Kimbap. So yeah, Nikon stepdaddy. Yes, yeah, we accept you as a stepdaddy. Oh, and thank you, Randy. Damn, ask and you shall receive. Thank you very much, Randy. Damn, you have a Kick. You're on Kick as well. Well, thank you guys. Man, it feels good. A kidney plate. Oh, are you talking about this thing? Yeah. So, just very, very briefly, as I kind of spitballed my way through everything, this is what I usually do on stream. I'll kind of go through some of my photography and videography projects. Right now, I'm working on building out, or basically, I've traveled for like the past 2 years in a row across like a dozen countries, over 100 terabytes of footage. So I've been using my time when I'm not traveling to try to catch up and edit my photos and videos. So right now I'm working on the second episode of my Mongolia trip. So that's what you guys get to enjoy, hopefully, if you continue sticking around. And we do this, I try to stream like 4 to 5 times a week at this point, but yeah. Okay, give me a second as I make sure I didn't miss any messages here. So Randy said the Nikon stepdaddy, which I appreciate it. Yair says something about watch out for some scam. Okay, gotcha. If I can support a fellow Nikon person, yes, thank you, Randy. I would like to support you too. You got photo in your name, so I'm assuming you are also a content creator, photographer. So if you hop into the Discord, feel free to plug yourself there. I think there's a few sub threads or whatever you call it on Discord where you can feel free to share your Instagram or whatever you would like to share with us. Nikon Padre, yes, says Fed. The Nikon Daddy. Well, considering we are both creative web members. Oh, nice. Okay, you're part of the... Oh, perfect. I do stream, but leather work / crafting. Well, listen, that sounds even more badass than whatever I do. So, let me just make sure to follow you back. And hopefully I can catch one of your streams. Another thing I should give some context. While I am American, you know, I grew up in the States, but I've been living in Dubai for the past over, you know, like a long time at this point. So, yeah, in terms of my time zone, usually I'm in the most awkward of everything when it comes to these time zones. But, so yeah, so oftentimes I can't actually watch other people when they're streaming because I'm sleeping or something. But I accept anyone who hops in, of course. Though Sunday I should be streaming a photo shoot. Okay, nice. Sundays might be, well, it just depends on the time zone again. But yeah, feel free to let me know or post it in the Discord when you go live. I'm like glitter, I get everywhere. Man, that just brought back some random memories. I don't know why. We got Canada Entertainment Channel. Interesting name over on YouTube, says hi bro. Well, hi bro, back at you. I'm assuming Canada is for like the country, not whatever else it could mean. But I accept wherever my viewers are watching me from. Brandy says, well, I can't really stream most of my photos because it's too spicy. Oh, interesting. Well, you have my curiosity now, but I don't know what that's gonna. Yeah, maybe don't share the spicy stuff on the Discord channel. New York, East Coast, so it would be about 2 hours from this time now. I'll be doing that. Gotcha. All right. Well, good to know. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for a very fun way to start off today's stream. You know, usually I start the stream. Listen, I'm a very new streamer. I've been testing out a lot of things. I'm still in research mode. We started streaming back in August, end of July, August of last year. And I've been doing my best to learn as quickly as possible how to navigate live streaming, especially multi-streaming across YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. And my goal is to hopefully, obviously, be an entertainer, someone that people enjoy watching. Hopefully you guys will be a part of the process of creating art, and then we can share and help each other out and all that fun stuff. But the larger goal, which I've been sharing more and more recently, and a few of you in the chat have been helping me, is figuring out how can I take all of what I do how do I take the learnings of this kind of live streaming from home, but then apply it to what I actually do as a profession, as a passion, which is traveling the world, especially to capture some of the most exotic or wild moments. And that happens to come oftentimes in the form of animals, wildlife. So I've been meaning to get better at live streaming so that this year I want to start doing these IRL live streams where I can take you guys with me to different national parks, to jeep safaris, boat safaris, staying out in these hides and streaming it live. so you guys can actually be with me, see my point of view, how I take the photos and the videos in the moments. So yeah, that's been a big goal of mine, the main goal of why I'm doing the live stream. So keep an eye out for that. That is absolutely what I'm hoping to do in the next few months. We're just putting together all the tech gear for it. But yeah, even this technically was initially because I was trying to do a trip to Norway in a couple weeks from now to do some dog sledding. And I thought that this could be useful because there's this one mechanism that you attach to the front of this this vest, and then it creates like a nice gimbal where you can attach your camera onto it, so it just kind of stays fixed, and wherever you're looking, it'll kind of mimic like a point of view shot, and that way I can see the monitor, I can see what's being filmed. And I thought that would be a cool concept if I'm on a dog sled, and as I'm racing forward, I can make sure everything's in frame, I can make adjustments, but still be keep my hands free in case I needed to ride the sled itself. However, I don't know if that trip is gonna work out just because there's not enough time, and there's like 4 other trips that are planned back to back to back in the next couple months. So that might be the one I need to pause for now. Fed says, Canada says, no, it's a language from India. Oh, my bad. I'm very ignorant about a lot of these things. Can you believe it wasn't until I moved to Dubai a few years ago that I realized that there was this huge conflict between India and Pakistan, and not just for cricket or like sports related. I didn't know this crazy geopolitics that is all surrounding me. Technically, I'm in Dubai. In every direction, there's some kind of crazy conflicts. So that's how ignorant I am. So you said it's a language from India, Canada. Oh, okay, Canada. Kaneda is a Japanese first name. Well, now I'm hearing so many different things. But thanks for sharing. And thanks for watching if you're in India. I love India. I've been a few times now to Ranthambore National Park, to Kabini, and to Ladakh for the snow leopards and the tigers and all that. And it's a place that I want to keep going to because like India is so big and there's so much wildlife, so many national parks. It's a bit overwhelming to plan to go there, but one of the most beautiful places you can travel to. Randy says, I'll be lurking. I need to wake up in a bit. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Good morning to you. Top of the morning to you. What is it, like 5, 6 in the morning or something? I don't know. Thanks again, Randy. Enjoy your lurk. Fed says, one of the main characters in the famous anime movie Akira is named Kaneda. Oh man, that's a good movie. It's been a while since I watched Akira, but man, that's a fantastic movie. That is how Pakistan and Bangladesh became countries. What? Through the movie? Sorry, I was thinking of Akira, and I was like, the events from Akira is how Pakistan and Bangladesh became countries. Anyways, thank you for sharing your knowledge. Welcome, guys, yet again. Today is my 130th day of live streaming, so I'm a little bit high energy right now. I think it's the vest. I think wearing the vest just kind of pumps you up with some adrenaline, endorphins, whatever, because you feel like a badass. But yeah, I have been testing it out, just wearing it for a while, and it feels a bit hot at times. I'm not gonna lie. So, but the thing is, the good news is on the backside, it's got like that mesh feel to it. So I'm assuming if you sweat through it, it's not gonna be as bad, or it's a bit more ventilated maybe. But yeah, I wanted to figure out how to put this all together, right? I'm hoping it can't be that difficult, but you guys don't realize how bad I am at following instructions. Fed says, the conflict you learned about when moving to Dubai. Yeah. And I didn't learn it right away. It's just, I think eventually I was chatting with some of my colleagues who are from India and Pakistan, and then eventually it just got brought up. I forget how. Maybe it's something in the news, and then I was like, what's going on? And it's like, oh, you didn't know about blah, blah, blah. One thing I will say about Dubai, what is this, by the way? Okay, so there's this thing attached to the vest here. Is this like some kind of raincoat, or I don't understand? Fed, did you say you have a cotton carrier, or was that someone else? I forget who recommended it to me. I have no idea what this is. My assumption is maybe it's like some kind of carrying pouch. Maybe no, it doesn't seem big enough for that. Also, I'm heating up with this headphone and the vest. So let me just put this away for now. I don't know what this is. It's like, it's attached to this thing here. And I'm too much of an idiot to figure this out. I don't know how to even put it back. Once the genie's out of the bottle type situation here, I don't know. How the heck did I roll this up to begin with? Well, the good news is it's got a little clip, so I can remove it at least. So I'll just let it dangle for now. And then this guy here. So this will be like the secondary camera. I still don't know exactly if, or like, I don't know if I'll use this or not. Because usually when I travel, yeah, it depends if I change up entirely how I travel. Because basically what happens is when I'm traveling, I've got usually one camera on a strap like this. So I'm holding one camera here. And then I usually have my sling bag on the other side. So that way within reach, I have a second camera body. I have space for, like, I don't know, an extra lens or cleaning or batteries or memory cards. It's all just like within reach. So usually that's how I'm traveling. I got one camera strapped this way and then one camera or one bag strapped this way, like a side shoulder, whatever you call it, sling bag. So then the question is, if I use one of these guys, I guess I could put it on the left side. So it could be like, okay, camera here, and then I can still have a sling bag cutting across this way. So I then have a bag here. So it could be a bag here, camera here, camera here. But I mean, I'm gonna look absolutely ridiculous, but you know, it is what it is. Canada asks, are you going to stream daily? I do. I usually stream Mondays through Fridays around this time. So in the past, when I first started, I did go 46 days? 40 something days in a row without missing a day. And I was live streaming about 7 to 8 hours every day. But now it just didn't make as much sense to keep doing that. I think I need to focus more on quality over quantity, so I can focus on other things in my life as well. Fed says, no, I just have one of those smaller Peak Design camera holder strap things where you can attach it under the camera, etc. It was probably Swiss Army who tipped you about that. Fair enough. Yeah. I think that's where my mind was thinking it might have been Swiss anyways. Fed is from Norway. Yes, he is. Man, I wish I could have gone there. But I say it as if it's a foregone conclusion, but it kind of is, because right now, today is February 24, and February is a short month. And then if I were to go to Norway, it would be like March 4th when I would need to leave, which only gives me a precious like less than 1.5 weeks to prepare myself. So I think that one we're just gonna put on pause and try to travel. I still want to do a sled dog expedition. It'll just be on a later date. Okay, how does this thing work? So surely it can't be as simple as there's a Velcro. Okay. I think I'm making it more difficult than it has to be. Okay, so I guess it's something like this, right? So I would have one camera here, and I guess one camera here. Ideally, I wanted it on this side, because then I can still wear my sling bag this way. Because now if I put a camera here, I can't wear the bag this way. But I guess there's nothing stopping me from wearing the sling bag the other way. Okay, we'll change up habits. Now what about this thing here? So the thing I need to figure out is, this is like supposed to be some kind of system that makes it super easy to attach any camera onto this. Actually, let's go check out the video. There's some interesting videos on this. Cotton Carrier CCS G3. Is this it? CCS G3. Okay. Let's go to YouTube. Cotton carrier CCS G3.
This is the Cotton Carrier G3 harness. Trusted by thousands of photographers across the globe. Born from necessity. Refined by experience.
See that thing right there? So somehow they had the setup is supposed to work in a way where it makes it super easy to attach and detach. Okay. So it must be this thing here, yeah? This? I'll also laugh if it turns out I bought the wrong thing.
At its core, a patented twisted...
Okay, there it is. Hold on.
At its core, a patent.
Okay, let's look at that. Fed is saying his age. Man, shout out to you. Making all those films, man. You're putting me to shame. Okay, so it does come with this thing, so let me see. Oh, I'm an idiot. It's even got a beautiful picture to tell me how to do this. Lovely. Look at that. So it looks like, yeah, just gotta stick that, then that little rubbery thing, and then the thing and the thing. So put the thing, and then the thing on the thing. Got it, got it. So all right, so then that means, let me cover my eyes. So then this side, it has like these two arrows on it. There it is. So that must be on the outside, which then goes in here. Ah! Oh, that looks so simple. Okay. What about, okay, and then I bought this like bigger one. They said it was like some kind of universal adapter. And I'm gonna laugh if it turns out I bought something that doesn't even fit. Oh, wait. So basically I bought this thing and it might have been a waste of money, or I don't actually know how it works. So it doesn't seem to... I love just wasting money. But okay, this system works though. So at least with these little screw-ons, I just gotta obviously attach it to the base of my camera. But once I do, I can technically go on a shoot. Because I think the value of this... Yo, what the heck's going on Kick? Why does it say I have 17 people watching me on Kick? Is this what they call view botting? Or is that like actually people watching me there? I don't know. But if you guys are real, I appreciate you. I hope you guys will support me on all my channels. YouTube, Twitch, and Kick and all that. Looks very helpful. The Peak design also has a clip on and off like that, and you can set it up to carry camera stuff in different ways. You can have the camera on your right side, chest, etc. Yeah, I think it seems pretty versatile. Just the thing I'm getting frustrated by is I bought this separately because, you know, when I think I bought it on Amazon, and then on Amazon it had the thing where it's like, hey, most people who buy this also buy this, so you should add this to your cart. So I was like, okay. So like the sheep that I am, I decided to purchase it, and I think this was not cheap. I think it was like 50 bucks for this like freaking metal piece. So maybe there is some use. I'm assuming I can use it. I just gotta learn how exactly. But the problem is it doesn't seem to fit on this thing. You know, it doesn't actually slot into it. So hopefully it's not the worst purchase I've made. But as for these guys, whoops, this one does work. So now I just need to attach this to the base of 2 of my cameras, let's say. So imagine if I'm traveling with my Nikon Z9, which is this camera here. And then if I travel with my Nikon ZR, which is my main, main camera here, attach these guys to the base, and then it's like when you're out on a hike. So I am going to be doing some gorilla treks very soon in Uganda. So let's say when I'm doing those gorilla treks or the chimpanzee treks, before I used to have to, like for the chimpanzee treks, I was using my 400mm. Actually, oh, we can test it now. I forgot, I have this beast. So I can attach this to the handle and we can actually see if it works. Yeah, I hate that I bought some supposed universal stuff for the Osmo Pocket once, like that on Amazon, and didn't fit. Yep, we've all been there. So now I got to figure out if I've got this unit here. And okay, let me set it up as if I was on a hike. If I was on a hike in the jungle, I would have the lens hood attached. So let's go ahead and do that. And for this big ass lens, I'm assuming I need to attach it to this guy, because then this is what should hook onto the vest. Get my workout in for the day. Yo, I have a client, so I have this photographer client. He's a friend of mine at this point, but we traveled together, and he also has the same 400mm lens. But then he lost this guy, and I remember because he joined me on a trip that I organized to Uganda, and we were on a boat. And while we were on the boat, he had his camera on a tripod, and the freaking lens fell off. A part of it fell off into the water. So it was basically in the river. There's no, good luck fighting, crocodiles or whatever for that. But to get this replaced, apparently this lens hood costs like $1,000. It's not cheap. It's a bit insane, but you get what you pay for. So let's figure this out. How would this work? I gotta put these guys in. You need another copy of it to put on chimps, so they can carry the Nikon ZR and film from the trees. No, that's what this guy's for. That's where if somehow I can attach this to a freaking chimpanzee. Can you imagine? Oh my god, the footage, dude. Like a Tarzan footage when you're seeing the chimps are like swinging from like vine to vine, which they do, by the way. It's not just in the movies. I saw it. But if they're climbing up the tree and leaping over to the next one, and if they had a freaking Osmo Nano connected to them, holy Christ, dude, that'd be on some other level. Listen, we can dream. Technically, I could figure out how to do that from the chimpanzee island. Wait a second. Because we do have... Yeah, can you imagine? Because obviously I have that trip to... Let me think about that. Actually, that'd be so crazy. Hold on. Sometimes I'm a visual person, so I need to look at it and imagine. Okay, let's imagine together here. Okay, so let's imagine even for this shot here. If I had attached, because the caregivers can, the chimps here, these are rescue chimps, so they have a good connection. They bond with the caregivers. So we've seen that, if you haven't seen my video, hopefully you'll check it out on YouTube. But in the short film, you'll see where they're basically bonding with the chimps and being super close with them. So I can imagine a scenario where they could technically go to one of these chimps and then I guess it would have to be some kind of collar, maybe. I don't know. I'm overthinking this at this point. But there's a world where you could have a chimpanzee wearing an Osmo Nano or one of these action cameras. And then when they're off in the forest, oh my god, Dude, that would be like, that would be some of the most viral content you can ask for as a creator. But probably highly unethical. But maybe if it's with the rescue chimps, that's a different story. Yeah. Okay, let's figure this out. So I need to put this and this together. Okay. And I'm not sure which one. Perfect. All right, let's figure this out. There we go. This is as good of a DIY as I can do. If you ask me to change a tire or anything like that, a real man asks ChatGPT. Okay, so it's actually not as difficult as I thought it would be. So let's say, okay, I've got this guy hooked in there. So then let's imagine I'm on a trek. I guess it would just mean, based on that video we just saw, it seems like you attach it sideways, right? Hold on. Hello, Beatty. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. Beatty, I've been purchasing a bunch of random stuff, but I've got a few film projects coming up. So in March and April, it looks like I might have 4 trips back to back. So now I'm in a little bit of shopping mode. There's a few things that I needed to purchase.
Twist and lock system. Quick, secure,
including this cotton carrier thing that you see me wearing here. So I just wanted to test it out, but yeah, it seems like what? I would just need to I'm so nervous I'm gonna do something and drop it. Oh, okay, hold on. I know what's wrong. Come on. Now it's stuck to me. Yo, this thing costs like $17,000. So I should be a bit more careful with how I'm. Why is this thing stuck? Oh my god. BC says, what the F? 17,000 for a lens is insane. You know, I used to think that. I mean, it is, no, you're right. It is 100% insane. I used to think that's probably as much as anyone spends on camera stuff. Little did I know, there are people like Beatty in the chat, Swiss Army, and a number of other people, right? Even Fed, I remember when you said you had the Blackmagic Pixis 6K or something. Actually, I have no idea how much it costs, but BC, man, I'm telling you, it's like $17,000 for a lens is like being the, what did they say? Big fish in a small pond, right? That's basically what it is. Because my God, once you get into like that professional filmmaking world, it sounds like you're spending like tens of thousands of dollars for particular lenses and camera body systems and all the accessories. Yeah. Okay, I think I figured out I need to make this lined up. So it's like this, yeah. There's like an up and down arrow on this little thing. So I'm assuming that needs to be, oh wait, no, I did it wrong. Hold on. That needs to be in this direction. So it should be perpendicular. Okay, here we go. Also, let's look at Nala right here. Oh, you can't see her. Look at this cutie. She's just like curious at what the hell am I doing? But she's also being lazy about it. Okay. And while I'm at it, I should put this on in case I drop this. Come on. BC says, I wish I had that bankroll. If I was making good money off my work, I could justify it. But with it not making as much as money as I'd like to enjoy, it does seem lucrative. Yeah, I mean, listen. If there's no world where I'm making this kind of purchase now. This is back when I had a steady income before I'm not in corporate anymore, okay? So I don't get to rely on that beautiful paycheck coming through every month. But yeah, this was a different world, different time. BD says it would be a joy if lenses I required were only $17,000. See, exactly, BC. There are levels to this, and every time I'm realizing I'm like, we got a whiles to go. Okay. All right, so let's see if I did this correctly. It should be like. So if I'm gonna hike. Oh, I was right the first time, and you guys get to see for free. You guys get to see how much of an idiot I am, all right? I chose the wrong direction. Okay. So now, let's see. If I had the camera, which way would I want it? This way? Yeah. There we go. Oh my god, so much easier. So let's imagine here. I drop it in. It would twist down. So then when I'm hiking, basically this is how I would hike. It's like my baby. Oh, is this what it's like to be pregnant? Or, oh, I guess dads do this too, right? You know what? I should send this to my brother because he's got 2 kids. He's got a third coming. And I'll be like, look, I got a baby too, you know? We'll go to the park together. You take your kids to the park, so do I, you know? Actually, this doesn't feel half bad. This is actually gonna do wonders for me because the way I normally hike with this guy, it's always on a side carry, right? So I'd have it on a strap off to the side, which then ends up causing such issues on one side of my body. It just gets so, yeah, imagine like hiking for 30 minutes, an hour. At some point, it starts to just destroy you. So having this guy. So then the thing would be, well, I guess the other thing I have to keep in mind is with the camera on top, it's like, you know, it comes to here. Well, I gotta adjust everything. So then I go on the hike, blah, blah, blah. Let's do that fake walking, you know. Hello, Rachel. Rachel says hi. BD says, I'm currently out in New York City at the most opportune time in a blizzard. I'm so jealous. I want to film in the blizzard right now. Pixis says, oh no, Fedorevsky says, Pixis 12K is 5,500 or something, but you will want the top monitor that's sold separately, and that's another 325, so that's not bad. I'm currently on NYC on a blizzard. I came to my 4-month uninhabited apartment with great surprises. Damn, you have your own apartment in New York City. What are you, like a sheik? That says, hey to Rachel, $15,000 baby. Yeah, exactly. I guess the plus, thanks for being here, Rachel. Yeah, happy Tuesday. Sorry, I was supposed to do some photo and video editing, but we're off to a good, fun stream today. And obviously I got some new purchases. So I'm testing out one of the things which I'll be taking with me on my upcoming trips, when I'm gonna be doing some like gorilla and chimpanzee treks. We're gonna be out on boats. We're gonna, you know, it's like the usual types of things that I do. So I needed to purchase some gear, including this guy. So hopefully it'll make it easier for me to travel through the jungle. So then the point would be is like, as I'm on a hike, boom, we see chimpanzee, right? Boom, we see this guy. Wait, let me, chimp is in there, right? So then what do? Chimp's here. We would then twist this, lift it up, and then start shooting. I gotta be so careful because I don't have the actual camera here, so the weight feels a bit awkward. But yeah, that was actually really smooth. And that's it. Oh my god. Boom, boom, boom. I gotta be careful still. Shoot the animal. Put it down. Yo, how do I get Cotton Carrier to sponsor me? I should send them. I'll be like, yo, help work with me, please. I guess the plus is you don't have to breastfeed the lens. I mean, who said I can't, you know, nothing's stopping me from trying still, right? LOL, no, I just work here a lot and live here half the year, so it made sense at a certain point. Gotcha. All right, well, there we go. So, oh, and then let's test out the side. I mean, I would never use, most likely, I don't think it would make sense to have this on the side one here, but maybe, let's see. Oh yeah, I think here I'd be a little bit nervous because the way, unless I'm doing it wrong, this kind of side, the kidney plate, as someone said in the chat, it's attached here with the Velcro. So I'd be a little nervous with all that weight that at some point the Velcro will detach and then this thing will fall off. So, but like technically I could see a world where I put the big lens on the side. But like I said, the problem becomes the weight distribution, where you're just going to end up with so much weight over here that if I don't even it out on the other side, my body will kill me. So, all right. Let's try one more time. See, I get to hold both my babies now. It's actually not bad at all. All right. Test is good. We're good to go. So nice. It feels so nice. It like, how have I not had this before? I need to ask. Yeah. Randy says your cat is so cute. Yeah, both of them are adorable. Nala for sure. She's like a princess. She's like the diva. So, but thank you for saying so. I will let her know. I'll pass along the message. Sir, bazookas are shoulder and or back worn, not the kidney. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to blow out your kidney. You can blow out your back, as you know, or your shoulder, I guess. I miss my floof. Well, listen, yes. Cats are like a special animal. They are, I think I saw a study, apparently. There's a social media, it was on social media where it's like, cats, scientists have discovered that cats are like the perfect animal in terms of, evolutionarily speaking, where they've had like the minimal amount of changes biologically. I don't know, I'm not using the right terms, but basically they're such perfect creatures that they haven't seen much evolutionary changes to their biology. So there you go. You just want a camera on the hip so you can shoot from the hip gunslinger style when needed. Yeah, exactly. Randy says my Astra, she passed a year ago. I'm sorry to hear that, Randy. Yeah, I mean, listen, without my cats, because for the past few years, in the pursuit of what I'm doing now, right, in terms of photography, then going to videography, and now I'm not in corporate. I'm just investing all of my time into what I'm doing. It's been a really fun journey. I have zero regrets about it. But one of the things that comes with having gone down this path is that I had to make a conscious decision to sacrifice almost entirely any semblance of a social life. So thankfully I have a lot of close friends where I can catch up with them via FaceTime here and there. But even the choice to move to Dubai, part of that was also in this decision to like say, look, I need to have zero distractions. I need to invest all of my time towards learning photography, videography, traveling, and all of that. So I made this big commitment and sacrifice to saying, I'm just going to cut out being a social human being for a while. And one of the things that makes it palatable and manageable is having my cats. For sure, like just having my cats, because my day, it's no different. You see my day, I stream quite often. It's the same thing over and over again. I don't take breaks. It's just working from the moment I wake up until I go to sleep. So yeah, having the cats have been a huge blessing. So I'm sorry to hear that, Randy, but I'm sure you have only the best memories that goes with it, right? The good and the bad. She gave me almost 18 years of joy and love, so I smile, but I miss her. You know how it is. Yeah, I completely do. I've had 9 in my life, only 1 now. Daddy's girl, Kitty. Well, I see now you are the Nikon daddy, so it makes sense. Man, these 2 cats are my first 2 ever. I have 1 horror story when I was doing a foster situation, but honestly, that story is so gruesome that I will save you guys. I'll spare you from the story. But this is one of those stories where if you met me in person, we grab some drinks, oh my God, would I tell you a story? And you'd be like, holy Christ. Anyways, I think crocodiles hold that record of not needing evolution. They've been around forever. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, okay. Listen, like I said, it was just like one of those headlines that you see where it's like, cats are the best. And that's what I accepted from that. Randy says, a photographer with no social life, shocking. Yeah, maybe, okay, maybe that's like the most obvious thing you can hear a photographer say, I guess. Maybe, but yeah, it's been quite the journey for me, for sure, and it's come with a lot of sacrifice. I don't view it as sacrifice. To me, I am slightly wired strangely in that I don't feel homesick. I usually don't feel like those heavy pangs of like depression or nostalgia or like things like that. I've somehow wired my brain to be overly optimistic, and I entertain myself by doing nothing. So I'll never get bored. I'll always find something to do. And then when I'm working on the things that I'm passionate about, like photography, like video and storytelling, all of it, I just get so lost in the sauce that the more time you can give me and tell me I can spend doing it, I'm just like, I accept, you know? So anyways, I've always been a bit of a rogue loner type. I see plenty of people, models, and I love being home, so very much the same. Yeah, you know what? I think, yeah, there's probably something there where it's not unique to me. It might be just unique, or it's just part of like, if you are, I don't know, maybe it is the pursuit of art in general. Who knows? Maybe, because I wonder about that. Like, where do people get their creativity from? You know, what sparks it? And if you could find a pattern, what is something that seems to be a commonality amongst a lot of people who are in the field of art or creativity or whatever it is? And sometimes I wonder it comes from a bit of like adversity, possibly, or coming from feeling like you're an outsider and just like constantly being in your mind, escaping reality. Basically, that's what it is. It's like if you live a life where you feel like you constantly want to escape from the realities of your world, that it's like you're basically imagining and transporting yourself somewhere else. And I think by the act of doing that, whether it's through books, whether it's just through daydreaming or whatever else you're doing, I feel like it does build up this this muscle, like your brain, your creativity, your imagination. You're like expanding it as a muscle, and then hopefully it means if you go into the arts, you just have a bit more of an abstract way of thinking. You have trained it like you went to the gym, and then all of a sudden you become an artist. I don't know. I'm just yapping, okay? Older photographer I knew said it's just the calling a lot of artists have. We are content with ourselves and our craft. Yeah. It is a stereotype that many men are never home, just busy at work. And like, the other stereotype being that we are super into gadgets. right? And like I'm surrounded by random shit that I'm buying left and right. Look, I just bought this thing as well, right? This one's a necessary purchase. So thanks to Cyronius for letting me know I need this. But if I'm going to start doing these IRL streams out in the wild, I need to have one of these wrist straps, or like put it way up here, and then I can attach my phone, so then I can monitor the stream and all that kind of stuff while I'm shooting, and then just making sure the cameras are working and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, I'm just surrounded by gadgets. BRB phone call, no worries. All right, so that's what this chest piece was for. I'm happy. It seems to work. Like I said, I need to still figure out how this thing works then, because it doesn't actually fit. It doesn't fit. Oh, could that be it? Maybe I have to take one of these smaller pieces and then attach it to this guy, so then it becomes, so maybe this attaches to the thing and then this is attached to that. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Okay. I think. This is for next time. I'll figure out these little intricacies later. So there's a few other things I need to purchase for these upcoming trips. Like I said, there's at least one trip. I can't really speak about it yet, but it will be a travel related thing. So I am kind of preparing everything for that. I mentioned one other one, but now you have to stay home and feed your baby the lens baby formula. So now you will not be able to work so much. Yeah, can you imagine? I'm breastfeeding it that way. Yeah. Anyways, listen, not to get too awkward with it. So yeah, one of the things I briefly mentioned the other day, there was, you guys might recall, those of you who've been watching my stream recently, right? I mentioned one trip that I went on last year. It was through Nikon and this like luxury safari operator across Africa. And they had asked me, Nikon basically reached out and asked if I'd be willing to be the instructor for an upcoming collaboration they had with that safari lodge, where basically my role would be to be the instructor, and I would get to train some of their top safari guides, like the top safari guides of that luxury safari operator, the lodges. I would get to train them on how to be a photographer. So Nikon would supply all the expensive glassware, the cameras and all that, and then we would figure out the itinerary, and then I would basically be taking these guides on Jeep safari rides and show them how to take photos, right? How do you take photos of the lion or the leopards or the birds or whatever? And it was such a cool opportunity. I'm very grateful for it. And thankfully the workshop went really well last year, and the company, they liked working with me. And so then when I was catching up with them a few months ago, or just as I was talking with them, this got brought up of like, oh, would you want to do a round 2? Can we plan for this year to do that again, but a bit more, just better, obviously, right? This is the second round of doing this. Let's do a longer everything. And so it looks like that's been greenlit. So I still gotta work with them, make sure everything logistically still works out. But assuming that works out, I will be going back to, I think, either Tanzania or Kenya, and I'll be training a bigger group this time, multiple groups, and doing somewhat of the same thing, but now I have a bit more time to kind of prepare, figure out what the best itinerary is, what are the key learnings, what are the key takeaways I want all of them to walk away with. But man, it was such a cool experience, and so I'm happy to do it again. And it's just going to be like doing these wildlife safaris and showing them like, oh, okay, here's that baby cheetah, or I don't know, whatever we're looking at. Everyone has to, look for the right angle. This is what you need to look for. Here's how you do the shoots. It was just so much fun, and the guides were like amazing. A lot of them were like fantastic photographers. So, yeah. Okay. Anyways, so that trip is coming up, and I've got my photography group tour. So if anyone knows someone interested in doing like a very expensive but reasonably priced photo tour. Right now I've got 2 of them set up for Uganda. Let's see if my command works. Is it !tours? Perfect. This should take you to my website. Feel free to check it out. If you know anyone who's got $6,500 to spend to join me on my trip, my first one coming up is in April. Beginning of April, you can join a small group. We're going to be going to Uganda, spending 9 days, doing some shoebill stork excursions, some chimpanzee treks, as well as some gorilla treks. So yeah, if you're a photographer, let me know. Anywho, so this one is covered. Let's put this guy away. I think I can take this off now, all right? Although part of me wants to keep testing if it feels annoying. We'll wear it for a little bit longer. All right, here we go. I'm back. And again, thank you guys. Those of you, especially today's an interesting day because it seems like there's more people on Kick today than usual. So whatever got you here, assuming you guys are all very real people, thanks for being here. Anyways, okay. So what we are supposed to do today is finish my Mongolia video, and I thought maybe I can edit some photos from Sri Lanka as well, but I'm feeling like right now the focus should probably be on Mongolia. So let me just go over to my projects. Let's open this guy up. Boom, boom, boom. But there was a video I thought I wanted to watch. One, there's like some videos about Bella Box that I thought might be interesting to learn more about. But then there was like a Mati Hapoya video. Where is it? There, filmmakers don't need Hollywood anymore.
I think it's official. Filmmakers, we don't need Hollywood anymore. I just posted my little mini doc of Life of Riza, an incredible filmmaker posting her videos onto YouTube, telling relatable stories, just her and a camera, and there was a really interesting comment. Finally, this is what I've been trying to see from you, Maddie. Been waiting for you to realize this moment. The new wave of filmmakers, the new era of filmmakers, the filmmakers of YouTube. We don't need Hollywood anymore to produce a great story, and being a YouTuber is just a label that you post your film arts on YouTube. This literally sums up how I've been feeling recently. I've been basically going on this like couple year journey. I've had this like mission in mind of like, I'm gonna bridge the gap between...
Skull Bazaar says, I'm not real. You're real. You know what? That was very real of you to say that. So thank you. Thank you for letting me know you're real. All right. Wow. Perhaps today's the day we're officially going to be a proper Kick streamer. Man, it's what a journey that's been. But yeah, thank you Skull Bazaar for chatting away there. I've been streaming on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick for the past like 6-7 months now, and it's been a fun journey. So I appreciate whichever platform you follow me on. I would say if I had to prioritize, or if I would identify myself, I guess, of like where I call myself, I've been calling myself a YouTuber of late. That has been my biggest priority. So I started off in Instagram, posting photos from my travels, and then I shifted more into like Instagram Reels for a while. Some of those popped off a bit more than usual. And I got enough encouragement that maybe this is something I should spend more time doing, not less. And so the past 2 to 3 years, I've basically, I've been out of corporate now, and I've just been using that time traveling as much as possible, trying to capture as much as possible, and then learning how to share as much as possible via my socials. And then YouTube was the main one. And then the streaming just became a byproduct of that, as I'm trying to constantly, there's a phrase that I've been using a lot, which is just being comfortable being uncomfortable. And so constantly trying to stretch my uncomfortability, because it might come as a shock since I am doing these live streams. I don't like being in front of the camera. It never came natural to me. It's not natural for me to be in the limelight. But at some point I realized that if I want to be the best at what I can do and share the best of the world as I try to do, I have to share myself as well, because otherwise people just don't connect. People won't take the extra time to immerse themselves in the world and the art that you're creating if they don't get to know you as the artist. So that's been part of this journey of why I've been streaming. So if you guys hop in here and there, if you find or it resonates with you in some way, yeah, it's all in the name of the game. So I appreciate it. Right now, I do want to do some video editing, but I saw that this is one of the creators that I've been following now, and I like his videos. He's very engaging, a lot to learn from. So he's got a video called Filmmakers Don't Need Hollywood Anymore. I figured I'll play this while I edit. Maybe I'll do a little bit of photo editing as this plays out, and then we're going to stick to our Mongolia episode 2 video to finish. Oh, thank you very much, Skull Bazaar. Thank you very much for the follow on Kick. Man, proper Kick streamer now. Hey. Oh, and thank you. Oh man, I appreciate you following me on the Twitch side as well. Today's a crazy interesting day. In a good way. Seems like we're having a good time, so thank you very much.
The new school YouTube filmmakers and the Hollywood world, and I'm gonna bring them together, best of both worlds sort of thing, and it's been horrible. Don't get it wrong, the creatives, the filmmakers, all those people, the DPs that
How's the audio
interviewing,
on this?
incredible. The Hollywood machine around it,
Okay, I think it's okay.
not so much. The way I would describe it is like if Hollywood was on the edge of a cliff holding on to like the cliff edge. They're over here holding on for dear life. And I'm like, oh, I can help, here's a hand. Nah, get out of here. Ah, what the heck? I don't get it. I'm literally offering a free helping hand. Not that I'm gonna like save Hollywood or anything like that. This is just more of like an analogy of how I've been feeling. I'm not asking for money from them or anything like that. I'm like, I just want to bring the worlds together. And it
Man, this is actually kind of depressing me. What the heck? If I'm like semi paying attention as I'm multitasking here. Is he saying that he hasn't felt a lot of support from like Hollywood level production, which is like, damn, if our boy Mati Hapoya, if he's not getting recognition or opportunities from that level of filmmaking industry, then what chance does someone like me or anyone much smaller have? But maybe I'm mishearing, maybe I'm not hearing him correctly. Also, we got like 10 more minutes in the video. I'm sure he's going to end us with some happy notes, right?
It has been so hard. It's like trying to teach your grandpa how to use a smartphone, and you're just like, what am I doing here? And the truth is, filmmakers really don't need Hollywood anymore, and there's two big reasons for that. One being that gear is so much more affordable now than it was just like a decade ago. A lot of filmmakers.
Do you think he's going to bring up the Nikon ZR? I bet he's going to bring up the Nikon ZR. Because you did say things are more affordable now, right? Fed says, what? Why would Hollywood show support for some random guy? It's always been hard to get a job in Hollywood. I don't know. Listen, I have no idea. I would love... Because like... Fed, you know me. You know how much I don't know of anything. But yeah, Hollywood would be one of those areas that I do want to crack into, right? Like, if I've discovered that one of my highest passions, if there are levels to it, one of my highest passions is storytelling and learning the craft of storytelling, having my own stories to tell, whether it's like conjured up in my mind, like fiction stuff or documentary stuff from my travels. I do want to share those. And so understanding the world of Hollywood and understanding how to crack into it, that is a big goal of mine to figure that out. So National Geographic as well, right? But
especially in this generation coming up right now, have no idea how good they have it. Even for me, I started it just like in the transition of like going from film world to digital. And if I had to do film cameras, I would have never become a filmmaker. There's no way. It would have just been too hard. I didn't have film cameras lying around or anything like that. And I saw kind of like the birth of drones and gimbals and all of these tools that made filmmaking moves and things, techniques that would have cost so much. The gear would have been so crazy, and you would have had so much crew to do these. All of a sudden, you just have a gimbal or a drone that can, like, we do not realize how good we have it with filmmaking. Literally, you can just use your iPhone and make like a feature film right now. It is that good. If your story was really good, you should be able to tell it on an iPhone. I guess that's like a good like litmus test of like, should I be making this film or whatever? If you can't make it with an iPhone and make it good, it's probably not a good story in the first place. And more importantly,
you need to know someone already in Hollywood and have a great agent, or just be lucky with the film you make. Yeah, I guess it's always about who you know, but that's like true for any industry, I guess, right? So but yeah, I guess the other point that it seems like he's making, or at least one that I was thinking about as well, is like, well, with YouTube now, does one really need to push out their video to Hollywood? Wasn't there that one story recently of I've never seen this guy's videos per se, but I've always seen him. Who's that guy? Markiplier. Didn't that guy, because I know he was one of the OG YouTubers, and then he made his own horror movie, right? I don't know enough about him to really speak confidently on this, but I thought I saw something where like this dude is a large YouTuber. He made his own video, or like he made his own short film. Is it even a short film? He made his own film, and then he wasn't getting any support from the traditional channels of like, if you want to have this in theaters. So then he just kind of did it his own way, or he basically had a crowdfund or whatever, I don't know. And it's been like a huge success where it's all over the theaters. Man, I'm like completely butchering whatever the actual story is, but the point is, I guess that's a good example of a YouTuber that's basically broken the mold of how do you share your film outside of the typical Hollywood industry. It's no different than any other business in that way. Hollywood doesn't know Mati. Yeah. Markiplier did well with his recent film. He's an outlier, though, at least for now. Okay, that's a good point, too. It's like, sure, for every one story we can point to, there's like an infinite number of the ones where it didn't succeed. So, yeah.
Number 2, distribution is now free and infinite with YouTube. I ask this question all the time from DPs and directors. Would you rather make a little bit more money but have less views on your feature film, or would you rather have more views and make less money on it?
Ooh, and hold on. Let's think about that. So would you rather make more money on your video but less views, or more views but make less money? Okay, well, it's a little bit, I guess it's different when it's your job. Like like a DP or something. I guess at the end of the day, you need to make money to then do your next project and your next one. But then the part of me thinks the answer most people would want to say is that having more views matters over the money. But that could just be like that's more just like if you are privileged enough to even think of it that way. I don't know. Right now, I would obviously feel like I would prefer having things that have gotten more eyeballs. If I can share my art with more people in the world, that means a lot more to me than if only one person watched it, but then they paid me like $1 zillion for it, you know? But you know what? It's not, even that sounds a little too pure to say it that way, because there must be a trade-off, you know? Because the more money now can mean future projects later. So there are examples of people who put short films on YouTube, got very popular, got to remake the short film as a feature film in Hollywood, and now directors in Hollywood. Yes, Fed, that's what I'm trying to do. That's the thing I'm trying to do, man. Or, you know, at least part of me wants to do. That's where, remember that story I told you about, that short film concept? That's kind of the direction I thought I would take it. I would make it as a short film on YouTube, and then if it does well, if the idea sells, then how do I spin it into more of a Hollywood production, robust, proper, like storyline arcs and everything across all of it, right? But that's what I want to do, you know? And so that's why I'm saying like YouTube has become like the main priority for me to constantly build it up and spend as much time invested in it. What's happening? Low Bass is in the chat. Yo, Low Bass. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Is good. Today's been a fun stream. We started off strong today. We had a bunch of people hop in, and Show me some love. So thank you. And our kick stream randomly was kicking off today. Like, what the heck? Whatever Kick's algorithm was doing. We went from our typical one person watching me, whoever that one person is on Kick. And then, yeah, anyways. And at least some of them are not fake. We got Skull Bazaar. Thank you, Skull Bazaar. Skull Bazaar says, depends if the higher views can bring as much money over time versus the initial big money with less views. That won't grow as much. Yeah. And again, it is one of those, like, ultimately money makes the world go round. So, you as much as you would like to hold your head up high and have like some prideful answer of like, no, it's about the views, not the money. There at some point, yeah. Okay, I'm assuming he's gonna say most of them say views though. Let's see.
Less views on your feature film, or would you rather have more views and make less money on it? And every single time, everybody always, without fail, says they would rather have more views. They want more people to see their work. Well, if we follow that logic, where would you put your feature film right now? YouTube. What's the best place to put your film? YouTube. What's the best place to put your TV show? YouTube. What's the best place to put your
Let me guess.
documentary?
YouTube. Oh.
And funny.
Canada's saying, can you show me some pictures? Yeah, of course. I'm going to try to do a bit of multitasking. But like I said, I do a little bit of photo edits as well. I've shifted away from photos in the past few years. In terms of my focus, I've been trying to learn how to be better at video editing, storytelling, crafting, just every portion of the piece of understanding filmmaking, which also includes like understanding audio, sound mixing, and all that. So that's been my focus, but my passion started off in photography. So that's been the area where like an infinite number of hours put in over the past decade of me doing this to, improve my craft as much as possible. But to be honest with you, it's mostly been in autopilot in terms of like when it comes to how I edit. I have definitely hit a plateau, or at least that kind of concept of diminishing returns, right? The more time I spend trying to learn photo editing, I don't get as much returns in terms of how much I'm actually improving my craft. And that's just like, that's normal. But for me, that's why I feel like my time is better spent learning videography, because there it's like every hour, every constant time I spend learning video editing, the development, the gains that I get from that are like significant. So, but yeah, anyways. So I'll do a little bit of photo editing as I'm watching this video, and then we're going to switch over into the Mongolia vlog. Lobe says, the only people I ever got on Kick were people who already followed me on Twitch. I've been, you know what? You never know. It's like, it always just takes one follower at a time. That's what I'm here for. I appreciate every single follower, even though it could, for the longest time, it was just that one person that was watching me on Kick. Listen, that one, eventually, maybe that person doubles somehow, splits into two. I accept. So, Kavai says he's swapping his main lens at the moment, low base, and he's talking about the new lens. Oh yeah. Well, if you're watching behind on the stream, I had so much fun. I did test out the cotton carrier, and man, it works really well. So we did have some fun with that. It's the mood lighting. I'm ordering the RF. Wait, hold on. What the heck? My chat jumped all the way to a previous day. Skull says, knowing nothing about the industry, why would you want to get into Hollywood? Can you only get into the theaters through Hollywood? I have no idea. It seems like that would be the case, though. There's a bit of gatekeeping, where if you want your film to make it into the world, you have to go through, well, I guess it's not just Hollywood, right? It's more regional based, but I'm assuming Hollywood is the main. I'm pretty sure people would rather have their series on, oh yeah, you're right, of course, yeah, like Netflix, HBO, Apple TV. Man, I don't expect any of you guys to nerd out about this the way I will, or I have. But let me share something. First, let me just catch up on the chat. YouTube, if you want to get your story out there, YouTube should get you the views, but you also need the traction. Yeah. Viewers have been known to reproduce by mitosis. Yeah, exactly. Because the theaters are unionized. Yeah. Oh, okay. So there's a bit of like, proper gatekeeping. But randomly, there's a guy named Brandon Sanderson. Okay. Brandon Sanderson. It's been a while since I've like properly read any books, but one of my first passions in life was reading, especially like fictional books. I used to just absorb as much as I could. And one of the books I grew up reading was called The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. This was like the OG book. I remember when I started this series, I felt so, man, talk about smug. I was so condescending as a kid. Not really, I'm just kidding. I'm exaggerating. But I remember at the time when Harry Potter was blowing up. I loved Harry Potter too, by the way. I remember still, like, it was a 3rd grade, 4th grade. Some parents literally bought all of us in our classroom the first book of Harry Potter. And, you know, so obviously I fell in love with it. Good memories from all of that. But I do remember while all the other kids were, you know, raving about Harry Potter, I was in the adult section of the library, the public library, reading the Wheel of Time series. And this was like the OG of world building, just like transports you into a completely different world and system and all that. Amazing book series. But the problem with the author is he was so slow with it. And the kind of the memes about George R.R. Martin with the Game of Thrones, I guess that was similar to this guy, Robert Jordan. Although I don't know if it was actually that slow. It's just that the series was so long. Each book was like 1,000 pages long, and there's over a dozen books. And unfortunately, he passed away before he could finish what he thought was going to be the final book. And once he passed away, this dude, Brandon Sanderson, Robert Jordan, the author of this series, his wife was the publisher. I don't know the right terms for this. The editor, publisher, something like that. She was involved in the process of pushing out his books. She got a hold of this dude, Brandon Sanderson, who is a younger author. He has his own series that have popped off. And she asked him if he would be willing to finish the book series. And he did. He did an amazing job. And that's how I discovered this guy, because he finished the Wheel of Time series for me. Amazing author and everything. So anyways, this guy, he's incredible. And now he is the complete opposite of George R.R. Martin, where George R.R. Martin needs to spend like a decade to make one book. This dude will make 10 books in 1 year. It's just like insane. And he's created his own series called what is it called? It's the Way of Kings is his first book, but the Stormlight Archives. Amazing series. And apparently he just secured a deal with Apple TV. Sorry, this story was going somewhere and I forgot where it was going, and I just remembered. It was about Apple, Netflix, and all that kind of stuff. So Apple TV has secured the rights to Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere Universe, which is the Mistborn series, which is, I think, his first popular series that blew up, as well as a Stormlight Archive. So I am super excited because I've been a fan of how Apple TV's been pumping out some really cool sci-fi related stuff and fantasy stuff. So anyways, my little tangent here. Thank you guys for paying attention to this matter. So I'm very excited about that. So, okay, sorry. All of this was to say what? Yeah, I guess you don't always have to go through Hollywood. Now you do have these new platforms that can push out your stuff. That's what I meant to say. Yo, I see Maple's in the chat. Hello, Maple. Hold on. Sorry, I went too deep into this, so let me just make sure I see what people are saying here. Hollywood is just a name for all the California-based studios. Now that also includes all the streamers based in California. Maple says, Brandon basically had his pick of studios and went with Apple TV Plus for a Stormlight Archive show, and then Mistborn will be a movie series, I believe. Yeah, dude. Oh, man. Maple, I'm so glad you know about this. Brandon Sanderson, I used to nerd out so much back in the day. I do feel sad that that's one of the passions that I haven't been able to keep up with is just books and reading and fantasy and all that. But I have his last book that he made of the Stormlight Archives. I just haven't had the time to actually open it up and read it. So now I'm trying to see if I can find time for the audiobook. Low Base is asking, so he's basically George R.R. Martin. He's George R.R. Martin, but he's dead. But this is like, it should be a warning sign to George R.R. Martin, man. It's like, come on, hurry the F up. Anyways. So yeah, shout out to the OG Robert Jordan. He was the best. You said it as I pressed enter. Gotcha. George R.R. Martin always struck me as somebody who just wasn't used to having money. Like, he wrote to make his living, and then when he got successful, he's like, hey, I'm rich now. Why do I still need to work? Why do I still need to write? I was going to go somewhere with that, and I'm wondering, maybe I shouldn't. You know what? There's that famous meme of that guy who's like saying, if I speak, I'll get in trouble, and I don't want to be in trouble. So I'm going to hold myself there. But who knows? Who knows what the reasons are, but I think George R.R. Martin, clearly a genius writer and everything. I just don't know what's taking him so long. Yo, Sophie Sophie, my cat says thank you. She's decided to hop up on my chair. Sophiesaurus Rex, what a name. Thank you very much for the follow on Twitch. Wow, today's a poppin' day on the stream. Thank you guys. I appreciate the support across all of it. YouTube, Twitch, and now Kick. Wow, what the heck? George decided to do a lot of other work instead. Sucks for fans who want an ending. Yeah, I know. What the heck, man? I keep saying George is doing a new thing. It's like, really? You're doing a new thing before you finish the old thing? And now I finally understand. Because, you know what? I'm a hypocrite. Because that's basically what I do. And maybe I do have ADHD, right? The undiagnosed ADHD. But there's no excuse for George, man. You're getting paid the big bucks to finish your freaking stories. You might as well go there now. Nah, it's okay. I'll save it for later. George has been working on stuff, though, and he's pretty old. Yeah, I'm so nervous, man. I don't really like defending the guy, but he does work. Oh, my God. I saw that there's a new series. I have the book somewhere. Because George R. R. Martin made this series about the Knights. What is it called? I know there's a TV show now, but I don't have access to it. George R. R. Martin, The Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. Is that what it's called? The Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Yeah. Isn't this based on the book? I'm pretty sure this is the book series. Or I say series. I think it was just one book. The book was amazing, by the way. If I'm thinking about this correctly. Adaptation. Yeah, The Hedge Knight. This is it. The Hedge Knight. Such a good book. So I am happy to see that that's been turned into a show. And apparently the show is amazing. Based on the reviews here, IMDb giving 8.9. I have a rule. Any TV show that has 8 out of 10 or higher, it's an excellent show. It's never failed me. Finish his candy bar before he opened another one. Yeah. That's another story from the Game of Thrones universe. Yeah. I love this book. This book was fantastic. So I'm happy to see that. But George, man, my dude, finish your original series, right? But I wonder if he's a bit dejected, although I don't know. Because I feel like everyone knows that the series ended off really poorly. And so it left a bad taste in viewers' mouths. But I wonder, wouldn't that give you more motivation to then finish your book series in a completely different direction to kind of salvage how people felt or how it soured at the end of the series? I don't know. Who am I to say, you know? Here we are critiquing the man who's clearly a literary genius. But anyways, all right, so let's keep watching this video. This 12-minute video that we're turning into an hour.
Enough, we're kind of seeing like a reversal happening where before you would try to get onto Netflix or one of these streamers or whatever. Now, YouTubers' videos are being licensed and put onto Netflix. We have like Mark Rober, straight up just his videos that he's made on YouTube, put them on Netflix. We have a lot of podcasts. There's a lot of YouTubers' content that is now being licensed onto these streaming platforms. And that is because they see that like, oh, people love these. Obviously, they have millions of views on YouTube. Well, easy for us. The content is already made. We'll just license it for our own platform. If you make a big splash on YouTube right now, guaranteed you will get the attention of all the streaming platforms. Whereas if you make a really great documentary right now, good luck trying to get it on any of the streaming platforms. And if you do, you're probably gonna get financially really screwed over.
Speaking of that's not encouraging.
It is never ending. I feel like I'm like hitting a point where like there's like a little bit too much gear in here. But I don't know. I'm just a like camera nerd. For example, Fujifilm just sent this. It's like kind of like taking old, you know, vintage vibes. You can actually change the look with this setting and change it to a different time period. And then you can film with it like it's like a film camera or something. And then you can actually even take it prints out like the Instax photos. So like you can also just like print them out.
That's what else. That's what we talked about yesterday on the stream.
I love this stuff.
The Fujifilm Instax.
So the tools are very cheap right now, very affordable, and distribution is infinite and free.
Hold on, guys. Let's pause real quick to go to something more important. She's making some biscuits. You know what? That's one thing I need to... Oh, what's happening? We got Cat and Candle. Hello. What's up, Yobel? What are you working today? Well, you know, the usual. Let's not kid ourselves. I'm still working on my Mongolia video, so that's a top priority. But I'm kind of slowly meandering my way towards there. The start of today's stream, though, I did get to test out a new product that I purchased. which is this cotton carrier. And man, it worked really nice. I was basically able to strap the 400mm lens onto this, and it felt so comfortable. So this is something I'll be using. And I bought the dual system, so I can stick the second camera here, and it fits. It's so snug to put the thing on there. So I'll be using this on some of my upcoming. I got some gorilla and chimpanzee treks coming up that I need to prepare for. So that's what this guy's for. I might as well take this off now. Look. Oh yeah, even this is easy, right? It's just a couple straps. Ugh. Who knows? Maybe this will save my life when a gorilla decides to charge. Imagine the silverback decides to charge right at me and starts just destroying me. But then maybe this plate will be the thing that protects my heart, you know? Ugh. All right, anyways. Skull says, mix that dough. Oh yeah, sorry. What am I doing? How? Yeah, even Nala's saying, like, what the hell? Put the camera on me. Oh no, is she done making her dough? That description on my channel is not very accurate. What is it? Oh, the description of you. Shout out. Yeah, shout out to Cat and Candle. Mix that dough. Working on office stuff, catching up on emails and tax documents. Ooh, yikes. And junk, nothing fun. And lurking. Well, thanks for lurking. Sucks to do the tax stuff. I hear you on that. That's one of the best parts of living abroad, is that you can delay your tax return by quite a bit. So I literally by the end of last year, I finally filed my tax return for 2024. Yeah. They canceled that sci-fi series based on George's work, The Night Flyers. It was a bit dodgy in parts, but I enjoyed it and wanted another season. I've never heard of this. I don't think I've ever read that series. Man, I was so disappointed. They did make a series out of the Wheel of Times. So like I said, Wheel of Time, that is probably the thing I have the most memories of in my childhood. Like just the amount of times, or like just the memories of like reading the book late at night, rereading the books, discovering new things every time you read it, discovering the concept of foreshadowing. I'm pretty sure it was from that book series that I finally understood the meaning of that. And yeah, so when they turned it into an Amazon show, I was so excited. But then they did something weird at the end of the season where they went in a different direction. Like they just completely... Like I'm okay with adaptations, or like if you decide to make changes from the original source material, but they went in a wild direction by the end of that first season in a way that I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. Because part of me for sure, I wanted to watch the Wheel of Time series as a TV show to kind of replicate the nostalgic feeling of when I read the books. So in many ways, I guess I was wanting more of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Not a truthful adaptation, but like more close to the original. And then apparently there was some kind of writer strike that happened roughly around the same time, which might have also impacted the quality of it. So I haven't actually caught up on it. It is what it is. All right, Nala is sleeping now. Kimbap has dipped out. All right, let's keep going.
The only thing you have to do is tell great stories like Kariza's doing, and you can make yourself a career that's way better than anything in Hollywood right now. One where you get to tell the stories that you want to tell when you want to tell them, and nobody's going to be telling you what you can and can't do. This is literally the dream for every single filmmaker out there. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, every single filmmaker wants three things. You want to make the films that you want to make, creative freedom, creative control. You want people to see your films, the audience, and you want to get paid doing it, money.
Get that money.
YouTube might be the only place right now where pretty consistently it checks off all three of those boxes, whereas pretty much any other filmmaking job does not check all three of those. Like you can be in the commercial world and you're making money, but you have very little creative control and it's definitely not your audience. Without YouTube, you can make your own project, whatever project you want right now, but without YouTube, you're probably not gonna make any money from it, that's for sure, and very few people are gonna see it. So you got creative control, creative freedom, but you don't have an audience and you're not getting paid for it. YouTube is safer financially, it's way more fun, it's way more fulfilling, Yes, there are some exceptions, like a Christopher Nolan, but unfortunately 99.999% of filmmakers are never going to be Christopher Nolans. Now, there is one thing that I feel like isn't quite figured out in the YouTube world, and that is, how do you make a feature film or a doc project or whatever it is where you actually need quite a bit of money to get it done? Like,
yes, that's what I need to know.
$1 million to $5 million or more. How would you do that? Like, the economics just...
I don't need that kind of money. Basically, I was thinking if I'm going to start pitching a few of my film projects, and these are like travel projects, not like some kind of like fiction movie or whatever, like travel documentaries. I think the asking price would probably be somewhere in like the $10,000 to $30,000 is what I would need to be able to make some of the film projects. Or I think that would be like the reasonable ask. Within that budget, I can then afford the travel, so pay for the flights, some of the gear, potentially have a crew, like having someone with me to kind of film together. So I think like if I somehow could secure $10,000 to $30,000 for some of my film projects that I need to figure out how to properly pitch, that is my kind of my current North Star. Like, I'm not looking for hundreds of thousands or millions. We're not at that level yet. But in my little small pond, I think if I could secure something like that, that would allow me to then make these film projects that I've been chatting to you guys about. Fed says it's a very old novella of his. It was made into a film back in 1987. It was a short story first in 80, then he reworked it into a longer tale in the mid 80s. Okay. So the short story is as old as I am. All right.
Don't seem like they work. And now this might be like a sign for you that like, well, figure it out in a way that you can make it. That would be the best way. I feel like any indie project right now, if you are not filming on like the FX3 or FX6, if you're filming on any like Arri or Venice or basically any cinema camera except maybe the FX6, you are wasting your time and money. The audience cannot see the difference between an Arri Alexa Mini LF and the Nikon ZR. Like, use a camera.
What I tell you, I said he was going to mention the Nikon ZR, and I was correct. Not for the right reasons. I think I said he was going to say it because something about the affordability of it. But listen, I was right.
Where you can be really fast and nimble and you won't need a big crew. You can have more fun, get more shots. You can actually tell the story that you want to tell in a way better way than having to lug around a concrete brick that's just slowing you down every step of the way just because of your ego of like, I want to use the best camera. That is so silly. And I do think there are two solutions to this right now. One is trickier and might be too soon. The other one is very doable. The first one, the tricky one, would be product placement. Just like we've had in movies and shows and whatever forever, you see a car or whatever, that is product placement. You see like a phone, that is product placement. Companies are paying to...
Hey, wait, he's about to say what I'm trying to do. What the heck? Is he reading my mind? You can definitely notice a difference when grading between the Arri RAW, and those FX6 files. In which direction, Fed? Because I know nothing, but I believe you're saying because I think you or other people said that Arri is like the cream of the crop. Is that like the ones that the Hollywood producers and whatever, that's what they use? So you're saying like an Arri RAW is like leagues above the quality of an FX6. Oh yeah, what was I gonna say? Yo, he's what he's saying here is basically what I've been thinking about for my own stuff. And it's not, to be fair, it's not my own creative idea. I think I was inspired by, who was that YouTuber that we watched a long time ago? He has like a Spanish name. Was it like Ramirez or Ernio? Ernio. The word Ernio keeps coming in my mind. Dehancer. God dang. What was that guy's name? There was this YouTuber, we watched this video where the thing that stood out to me was the fact that his videos felt like a short film. Like it was just so enjoyable to watch. But he was basically sneaking in some product placement or he was sneaking in some tutorials, but it wasn't designed to look like a tutorial. Ramez? Oh no, I'm never gonna find this. Ermia Ramez. There we go. I was tickling the edges of this, okay? I was doing a little tease for you guys. Ermia Ramez. This guy, I think, is phenomenal. But the way he would do his videos, it always felt, or I haven't seen a lot of his videos to be fair, but the ones that we saw, it felt like its own cinematic piece. And then baked into it was like, oh, by the way, shout out to Dehancer for how you do this, or this is a tutorial, FYI. And so I remember when I saw that, it must have I think it stayed with me. It definitely inspired me. So that's where I think yesterday, for example, I was talking to you guys on stream about a few short film projects that I'm trying to pitch. And also I'm going to start filming myself. And it was basically ways to promote products without saying the product in it. Right? So like, let's say the Nikon Z6 III, because I have like over a year's worth of travels footage captured with the Z6 III. So I can turn that into proper content for Nikon showcasing the Z6 III. But instead of making a video where I'm saying like, hey guys, look at what the Z6 III can capture. Wow, isn't that amazing? And it's got this feature and that feature. I thought it'd be cooler if I can make these shorter videos about something a bit more philosophical or a bit more, I don't know, just a bit more artistic and thoughtful without ever even like really pointing out the Z6 III or the product, right? Maybe just tangentially, but just never really the main point of the story and my voiceover or what I'm talking about. And then it's just like a video that is either sponsored by Nikon, that'd be great, or whatever, you know, you get the point. So that's where I was like, okay, if I can make a travel film from the point of view of my backpack, but never ever say like, oh, the Pidgeotech 1 Pro ST backpack. But it's just like, backpack has a voice and you see it everywhere because it's from the point of view of the backpack. And then maybe at the very end, it might just say like, you know, powered by or like sponsored by Pidgeotech. And that's it. That's the only reference to the backpack directly. I think there's something about that feels interesting. Okay, anyways, I'm kind of going on a tangent. Mabel says, Matty's videos have slowly morphed into this content that I'm constantly like, who is this for? Because the young filmmakers are going to shoot with what they have. But in larger crews, you have workflows in place that make sense and necessary color space to work in. So a lot of the time, Matty videos feel like, well, why have this Arri when the Nikon is good too? You guys saw the creator, right? That was the FX3. Interesting. You know what? And you come from it with, because I know you have way more experience. I'm just like dipping my toe into this world. So I guess my perspective is without that baked in knowledge of how film crews work and like what's traditionally or whatever that situation is. So I don't have enough knowledge for me to like do a proper comparison or even to push back on anything he's saying. So I'm happy you're saying that because I didn't think about it from that perspective. Mabel says it's like we get it. Lighting, production design, acting, writing, etc. are the building blocks of what actually makes a good product. But he doesn't have any examples really. It's just talking about the general concept of how you need to use the tools you have or do a good enough job. Yeah. Interesting. Listen, obviously I can't go into his mind. I do wonder at times, like when you are as big of a creator as Matty, how do you continue to make new content? And not to say that he's getting lazy with it. I'm just curious, like, if you've gotten to a point where you've made so much good content and people know you for it, but you don't want to repurpose what you've talked about before, I am curious what happens when you hit that point of like, oh shoot, there is no backlog left. We've talked through everything possible. And is it then a conversation where he's like, look, if I want to continue making content, I need to talk about it from a completely different angle. And maybe this is what he's doing, because it then, like you said, you're noticing a pattern with it. It could just be it's a strategic decision as well. I don't know.
To have their products be seen in those shows, movies, whatever. And
Mabel says, so they all feel the same these days. I also wish he'd stop doing Gen AI video sponsorships that go against all of his creative outputs. I know, listen, Mabel, I know you have a way stronger opinion on it than I do. And I don't mean that in a pejorative way or anything. I know you have you have a more fleshed out thought process around AI than I think I do. And definitely you have one that's strongly against some of the outputs of AI. But I remember seeing some of his recent videos where he, you know what? Like, cause I think he showed the video and it looked amazing. And then at some point he says like, and this is how I did it. And you're starting to get the gist that he used some kind of AI thing. And look, to be honest with you, again, like I said, I'm not as strongly opinionated on it, but it was still something where even personally, when you saw that that's how he created it, I just didn't watch the rest of the video because I was like, oh, there's nothing I can learn from this then. Because like, I thought for a moment he was about to show me, here's the tips or here's the tricks. Like if you're in DaVinci, if you do X, Y, and Z, you can do the same effect. But then the moment it came into like, oh, then you got to use Sora or whatever, Veo or Kling, it just got completely drained away the excitement for me of like, look, I'm not against it, but I just personally am not interested then in watching the rest of the video because I'm not here to learn how to use AI better. I'm here to hopefully learn how to be better at creating arts my way. So I think that's one thing, Maple. I can imagine that I think people will naturally start to gravitate away from AI generated content over time because it's going to get to a point where it's so saturated and inundated where you just lose the excitement of even watching it. So I think nature will kind of course correct, I guess is what I'm saying. So yeah. No offense taken. I know I'm right. Nice. Fed says, sounds a bit like sour grapes for not getting work in Hollywood, but I think he's just playing that angle, really. Yeah, listen, we can't get into his mind. I tend to be one of those like benefit of the doubts and like overly, I don't know, charitable is the wrong word to use here, but like, I don't know. I guess I just didn't ascribe any, I just didn't think about his intention or even like, I guess I wasn't even thinking about what the video is about. So I was just casually watching. A lot of his videos now feel like, look at this cool rig, but really the Nikon ZR is powerful too. Yeah. Make anything, show us anything. Okay, look, I'll push back a little bit because I really liked his video recently where he, apparently it might be an older video though. That video where he's showing another creator, the life of Riza, and then he was interviewing her. I really like that because I thought like I would love to see more of that kind of stuff where you shine a light on another creator and share their journey and how they got to where they are, and still make it feel very film-esque and cinematic, and still use the skills that you got, but telling like these human stories of other creators. Because that's something I would personally want to do at some point as well. Maple says not to say shut up and do tutorials, but yeah, we'll see if he comes with anything new. Fair enough. In reality, Mati hasn't probably tried to get work in Hollywood, but it works to say so for the video. The interview videos are great. The factory tour of Ari is great. I haven't seen that one. By the way, Maple, I did just film a video. It's not going to come out for some time because I'm trying to put it on a schedule. Basically, every week I'll be tomorrow's going to be the second episode. So every week I'm trying to post this new concept on my YouTube channel. I've called it the behind the lens. It's that overhead shot angle of me where I'm just talking to the camera about certain topics, right? So I've done my first one, which is just introducing the concept. The one that's coming out tomorrow at 6 p.m. my time, it's going to be around how I got into photography, right? So that first trip I went on where I had this moment of clarity, I guess, or the light bulb moment where I saw something that was so visually stunning that I thought I need to capture properly, and then I committed to getting a camera. So I'm going to do, it's a little storytelling. It's like 3 to 5 minutes. One of these episodes, I just finished filming it, and so I'm working with my editor now, but it is around AI. So I imagine I gave it some thought, but I'm sure because of how controversial and how everything AI is, I probably didn't cover enough grounds to say all the things that are bad and good about AI. But I did at least share my opinion in like 3 to 5 minutes, or maybe it was like 5 to 6 minutes, about how I view AI and how I am trying to survive this kind of the direction that it's going in, right? Let me share a bit more, but let me read your chat first. When he's doing things, I'm into it. When he's doing things, I'm into it. Gotcha. If it's another, wow, this camera is powerful and I have an Arri, so I know quality, I'm like, all right, I'm not interested. You know what, Maple, you give me hope, because if there's one thing that I can specialize on with my channel, it's the opposite of that. It's, wow, this thing is so amazing. And it's like an iPhone something, right? Because I don't know anything about quality. I don't know anything about gear. So everything feels like a shiny toy to me. So I'll be overly positive about everything, but it's also coming from a place of ignorance. So if there is one thing I can like market and make my brand, it's my ignorance. So, and I don't even have to fake it. You guys know. You guys, I'll forget. You guys will tell me things and I forget it the next day anyways. Shooting videos like that is fine and what he should do, but that stuff has nothing to do with working on Hollywood movies. And I really like his RA video too. More of those, please. Well, if Mati ever watches this video of or my live stream, well, I mean, at that point, that'd be great. I appreciate that. But content over quality, I agree very strongly with Maple about all of this. You make good stuff despite not knowing anything. Yes, that's going to be my brand, okay? I'm stumbling forward in a direction. It's like I'm spilling my tea, and the tea leaves, or whatever you call it, the soot, turns into something beautiful by accident on the floor, right? But at the end of the day, it's just spilled tea. So it's like, you know, it is what it is. I say that teasingly. You make good stuff. Thanks, man. I don't take offense anyways. You could actually genuinely feel like my stuff is shite, and I just be like, oh, well, give me some advice, please. And definitely, yeah, when it comes to technical stuff, I don't know anything. But yeah, so here's what I was thinking with the AI title that I have right now for that video is basically AI will replace me, and I'm not okay with it. But then the not is in parentheses. So it's kind of like a duality of it, where it's like AI will replace me, and I'm okay with it. At the same time, I'm not okay with it. And yeah, it's like a 5-6 minute video that I recorded. But the one thing I will say, I thought this was a good analogy. I don't know if analogy is the right word, but I start the video by explaining the scene in Interstellar where, you know, the characters arrive on that planet and then they see what looks to be mountain ranges way off in the distance. And they're like, oh, you know, it's like blah, 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 the mountains. And then you have that moment of realization when it's too late that those aren't mountains, they're waves. And it's like, it's still one of the most chilling moments in that movie, right? And then obviously there's nothing they can do about it. The wave is coming barreling right towards them. And it's like, you know, good luck, figure your shit out, but you can't stop it. And to me, that is basically how I feel about AI and me being those characters that are basically on this planet that's undiscoverable, unknown. I don't know anything. It's like any direction, everything's new and foreign and alien. And yet this mountain range, which I thought was a mountain range, is actually this wave. And the mountain range that I talk about, I'm pretty proud of myself for at least just mapping this all out. Because basically I was then pointing out the that Will Smith video, eating spaghetti, right? From way back. And actually I say way back, but that was only like 3 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago. And like, you know, seeing that progression of like what we saw and what we thought that this is what AI is, that's the limitations, and then what we see now, right? So I talk about how like I viewed, or I, like many other people, we might have viewed AI when it comes to the art field. We thought like, okay, AI is going to do all, it's going to replace all of the tedious jobs, the mundane things or whatever else. And even that, I don't necessarily, you have to be, there's risks that come with that, right? You're displacing real people's jobs and careers and livelihoods. But then you're always thinking like, well, I'm an artist and AI can't be me. It can't beat art, right? It can't be creative. And so you look at the Will Smith spaghetti video and you're like, oh, okay, that's the mountain range, right? That's the thing way off in the distance. And then you do a little double glance and you're like, holy shit, that's the wave. Because now you just see like in the span of a few years, it's crazy the progress, the evolution of AI. And again, it's not to point out like, you know, whether it's good or bad. It's just that's technology. And so then what do you do as like a lone man standing up against that with your camera, trying to say like, how do I stand out? How do I make my art actually feel like art when every tool around me, and I guess that has two meanings to it, but like everybody around me and all these tools around me are creating things that it can literally copy and paste what I'm making and then somehow make it better to random people. So yeah, that's the video that I make, and I share a little bit of my thoughts on it, but that won't come out probably until a few weeks, maybe next month. Okay, that was a long conversation there. Mati needs to spill more tea. Yes, we got to spill that tea, see what comes from it. But I meant content over quality as a bad thing. It's a trap YouTubers go through, especially cinematic camera tech people talking about Hollywood looks, etc. Yeah, and it's, you know what, it's a good problem to have though. Like I'm jealous of that being a problem that you have when you're big enough as a YouTuber where it's like either direction you go, you're still going to be successful. So obviously for me, I'm still a very small streamer, small YouTuber. So everything I do has to be maximizing the impact level in some ways, right? Like I have to maximize, but I'm also trying to do as much research and development at the same time. Fed says waves. Wasn't that spaghetti video made so we would forget about him slapping Chris? Wait, is that the order of events? Did that come first or no? Oh, no, I think the Will Smith spaghetti video came first. Because I feel like if the Chris Rock slapping happened first, I would have seen more AI videos of that slapping. I feel like I would have seen someone creating a version where spaghetti Will Smith is like slapping Chris Rock with meatballs or something. I don't know. Mabel says, it is in the tech billionaires' interest to make people feel that AI is here to stay and this is the future and need to roll over and live and adapt with it. But there are a lot of reasons for that not being true to the degree they are pushing for. Yeah, listen, I don't necessarily disagree. It's just one of those things where this is why I say I don't have strong opinions, because I don't fault anyone for having whatever opinion they have or whatever they choose to do as an individual. It's like the same way I don't fault someone. I applaud people who are vegetarians or who live a very like vegan lifestyle. I applaud you for it, right? If you're someone who's against like not just like factory farming, but just like anything to do with eating, meat or whatever. It's like I applaud you for it, but at the end of the day, for me as an individual, I just don't know how much I can really stop the tide, or be the person that makes it reasonable to say like, oh yeah, we could actually, I feel that level of control and power to do something significant enough that my voice and my opinion actually stands out and is part of the resistance to something to make something better. But yeah, like I eat meat, it's just like this, but I have more power to you, the people who live by that principle, right? And it's like, that's not the only thing, right? It's just like anything, right? If you like spend any amount of time thinking about anything that gives you comfort in this world, it's probably off the backs of other people's discomfort, right? So like me living in this building, or wearing this clothes, or even this like cotton carrier thing that we were just looking at, right? I'm assuming, probably reasonably so, you can assume that there was some kind of what do you call those things? Like the sweatshops with like little children that are making this, or basically indentured servitude or whatever. There's like some level of suffering at every level of the production level to get to this kind of capitalist world. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. It's just neutrally speaking, in a world of capitalism where we rely on each other to basically improve our lives, there's a lot of people that fall through the cracks. So it's like one of those where like if I take the time to kind of think through all of that, unfortunately I know that I'm probably one of the evilest people. Like we're all evil then, because we accept somehow, even if we don't say it out loud, we have accepted that there is some level of pain and suffering in the world bestowed upon others on our behalf that we've accepted as a trade-off to have our comfortable lives, right? And that stretches to everything, right? Everything, I think the most obvious example, not the most obvious, but you sometimes hear people talking about like, yeah, even like the iPhone that you have in your pocket. It's like, what did it take to make that thing? What was the damage to the environment? Again, people, children, or, exploitation that's occurring for you to have this comfortable technology in your pocket. I don't know. It's just like, it comes to a point where it's like, holy shite, what can I do besides living like a monk? If I decide to then say I'm going to be a hermit, I'm not going to rely on anyone else. I'm going to forage for my own food. I'm going to build my own shelter and just live as a nomad or whatever. It's like, unless I choose that, most likely my coexistence in this world comes with others having less. Sorry, that's another long tangent there, but Mabel says we can't affect Sorry, I missed where did I miss that? Fed says, it is a bit tiring to see content creators constantly making videos setting up studio lighting. setting up studio lighting you would use for a photo shoot and telling us how cinematic in Hollywood or Netflix is. Listen, if there's one thing that I can commit to you guys right now, but don't hold me to it, because I'm going to be the biggest hypocrite, I'm sure, at some point. But like I said, I do feel a little bit awkward being someone that comes across as being the expert. I just don't feel that. And that's not even about what's that thing called? Imposter syndrome. It's not even that. I just don't think I am the best person suited to share a lot of like technical knowledge and why this is better than others, or like, here, listen to me in that sense. I feel like I always have to add a caveat to it. So I'm sure I'll be making some kind of lighting videos at some point or talking about the different gear, but it's probably not going to come from a voice of like, hey guys, listen to me, because I look at my portfolio. Here's why you should trust me, and I know what I'm talking about. It's probably going to be like, I don't know what I'm talking about, but in my experience, this is the one that worked for me. We can't affect things the way the government can, but you shouldn't roll over because you don't have a voice. You can make a difference, but difference is in numbers. So you can't give up despite not individually being able to stop tech billionaires. Not giving up and rolling over is the most important thing. Your fellow man who didn't recycle their soda cans is not the reason that there's a garbage island in the ocean. Coming together to pressure lawmakers to do the right things and regulate things is important. I agree. And I think that's probably the biggest thing I would say. What I advocate for is that there needs to be regulation. Like I'm kind of one of those that I don't believe that prohibition ever works, right? Americans, we always point to that famous alcohol, right? Like there was way back in the past when we tried to prohibit drinking, and it failed miserably, right? Because there was always a black market. You just couldn't, like, trying to stop people from doing something. Not only does it usually fail miserably to like bestow punishment as opposed to incentives, but also it's like that Streisand effect where all of a sudden you make the thing seem cooler, and now you're getting more people to do it because you said don't do it. So it's like this weird thing where, like, sometimes, generally speaking, I think prohibiting things or trying to stop progress, quote unquote progress, is like really hard and not the best strategy at times. But regulation, 1000%, I think needs to be in place so that we kind of like weave the fine path in the middle somewhere to survive. But yeah, like generally speaking, AI is such a blanket term. It can mean so much these days, right? I just kind of view it as overall, it's something that we've accepted in some parts of our lives and just not in others. And it always depends on the scale of it in terms of how it impacts other people, our emotions, our physical livelihood, and all that. Because, like, yeah, obviously we've been okay with AI to a certain extent, right? Our cameras and the autofocus features, or all these like different things that we've got around us, probably has been using some form of AI, and we've always kind of shifted towards simplicity, I guess, or convenience and like better tools. Like there's a reason we don't all shoot with film cameras these days, right? Like we accept at some point AI has made technology better and faster and whatever else. And it's cheating compared to someone doing all of the steps of arts by themselves. But then I think that's still considered like an acceptable form of AI. But there's like a line somewhere, and trying to figure out where that line is and when it's crossed is, I think, where the more interesting conversation is. And now it's like, to me, it's more of like, I view it as a tool. It's like guns, right? And I'm sure we can all have disagreements on this, by the way. And I don't mean to be controversial one way or the other. But like, I view guns as this kind of it's a neutral existence in the world, right? It's like this thing that, I think I had a conversation with a buddy of mine where he strongly disagreed with me on this. But yeah, like to me, I viewed it as like a gun is a neutral tool that is neither good nor bad. It just depends on the person who wields it and the intent that goes behind it. And so to me, it's like, okay, I don't hate the tool. I don't hate the weapon or the gun. And you can imagine a world where the gun actually was used for good, where it actually stopped evil or it did something to protect, right? Like, so there's like all these scenarios you can think of. Point is, like, to me, I just view it as a tool, and it just depends on how you use it and how you regulate it. And I guess that's how I view AI as well. It's like AI is this tool that can be used for good. It could be used for so much exploitation, all that stuff. And the way that the AI is generated could also have so much ripple effects and bad stuff. So yeah, I know it's just like such a complicated conversation. So to me, I think the best answer is just trying to find people who can help navigate and put some guardrails in place so that we use it in a more reasonable, appropriate, responsible fashion. and not to the wildest way. It's like, yeah, it's like, you know, you can create a car that takes you from point A to point B super fast, but you need to make sure there's seatbelt laws and other things designed in place, speed limits and all that, so that people can safely, responsibly use the vehicle. So yeah. Anyways, wow. Listening to me talk about this, because I'm I'm someone that you should pay attention to or listen to for these things. I am the expert. You always say you are learning and trying it out. Most content creators act like they are experts on something they probably just learned from watching another content creator do it last week. Yeah. Well, thanks for saying that. I'll take it as a positive, I think, right? So I'll continue doing that. The moment you hear me in a video being like, oh man, I've done this, I know what I'm talking about, you know. Still make sure to like the video and comment. Fed says guns don't kill people, people kill people. Oh yeah, isn't that like... I do feel like sometimes people say these lines and they hide behind it, right? So listen, you can go in any direction with these things. That's why it's controversial. That's why the topic of guns as well will never go away, at least in American discourse, because just like so many layers to it. Maple says these conversations are important. I agree. I love these conversations. I love complicated, tough, awkward, challenging topics. But not to say that I have the right answers to it. I do enjoy exploring these things because personally, I guess I don't really get wrapped up in too much of the details where I feel so emotional about it at times. It just depends. It takes a lot to rile me up, I guess. Okay, let's finish this video.
People are seeing the movie, for example, on YouTube.
Oh, and then in the meantime, just to share my thoughts here, what I'm doing. So I usually do this. I don't know if this is the right steps. And sometimes I don't even follow these steps the same way each time. But for my current workflow, sometimes I like to reframe the image first, because sometimes it just helps inspire what the final look will be or how I should color it and all that kind of stuff. So in this example here, the way it was originally, I just thought that there's a lot going on, right? There's just a lot of nonsense here. There's not... like some of this is just unnecessary. Obviously we see it's very overexposed or potentially overexposed. There's just a lot of brightness over here that may not really add much to the shot. And because there's a lot of brown everywhere, the monkey kind of will blend in with the background if I just allow too much space. So I figured if I can crop in a bit, so the monkey is much larger in the frame, takes up more of the frame, so it's easier to kind of draw your eyes towards the subject. I figured that was probably a good strategy. And then for me, it just became and this is where, like, usually it's just eyeballing. I don't always know how to weight a picture. Like what's the right weighting, or I don't know if that's the right word for this, but like the kind of like the figuring out the distribution of where the subject should be within the composition. But where I landed, I guess, was having maybe be a bit more close up. And the thought process for that was also, we have this ugly branch of like this, we have a tree branch here that doesn't add much. It's slightly in focus, or there's just enough more, like a lot more detail here, that it does draw your eyes towards it a bit more than it should. So part of me thinks I should try to cut it out entirely. Besides, like, do I really need to see the full body of the monkey? Half the body is like kind of obscured and very blurry anyways. So that's not the main story for me as much. So these are all the thought process behind why, as of now, I'm cropping it into this extent, where now it's like, okay, your eye has no choice but to kind of force itself to look at the monkey's eye, see the hand, and, kind of see in the direction where the monkey's looking. So yeah, this is my current thoughts, but there you go. Hopefully that was some form of insightful. Maple says, these conversations are important, but as I said just before this last message, the enemy is not your fellow man getting by. It's the elite class that controls the living conditions and the world you are surviving. Yeah, exactly. That for sure, I 100% agree with you. It's like what is it? The hate the player. No, wait. Don't hate the player. Hate the game? Is that what they said? Yeah. But I guess it's like, don't hate the player. You should hate the pimp, right? Or the mob boss at the end. Yeah, so like I do ascribe different levels of culpability or responsibility based on your role in society, right? So if you are, like you said, someone who's just trying to get by as an individual, creating your world, I don't fault anybody for then having to go into the muck and do what you need to to survive. I really don't. I don't fault anyone. Even if you know what you're doing is not necessarily the best for society. It's like, you know what? There's a good conversation about this with climate change. And I remember when I heard this, it was interesting to me. I didn't think of it this way. Because, you know, at the time you're thinking like, who would be against climate change and all these like regulations to make sure you're not destroying the earth? And like, yes, that is true. Like, you want to save the earth. You want to put these regulations to stop, you know, whether it's like the oil companies or just companies disposing of their waste or whatever, like individuals, you shouldn't litter. There should be rules against all of this, right? And it's like, intuitively, you're thinking like, yes, like who would be against that? Or why would that ever be a point of controversy? But then it's like, when you think about in the real world, if you are living in a third world country, if you're living in a place where it's like, you're barely getting by and you have so many other bigger issues in the world, you don't even know how you're going to feed your family or your kids today, let alone tomorrow. So why are you telling me that I have to live by these rules to protect a world that I won't even be alive to see in, 10 years time, right? To them, it's like you might not even survive the day or the week. So now you're telling me to care about an earth surviving in 50 years from now, 100 years from now, and you're not giving a shit about me and improving my life now, right? That's like, I can understand this kind of thought process where when you are in that kind of situation, why, like, it's such an entitled opinion for you to tell me how to live my life and to not do these things, not to litter. I can't do this in my backyard because it's bad for the world entirely. I get this kind of point of view where I was like, okay, not that I think that there should be pollution and all that kind of stuff, but I can understand that there is nuance to a lot of these conversations. So like I said, I don't even hate, or I don't judge those individuals who end up doing things that they know maybe aren't good for society, for the world, but it's how they need to get by each day. Fed says, don't go kill people on their own. What is that quote from? I've never heard that part. Maple says, that saying is dumb as dirt because it excuses that the person is doing bad things, but not as bad as the game. Oh, the hate the player thing? Yeah, it's just a funny phrase, right? It's an excuse, I agree. Fed says, I heard from content creators that you need to keep that lower body of the monkey in frame because it's bokeh and that's cinematic. Also, Zack Snyder would never crop out that out of focus area. Well, Zack Snyder says it. You know what? Actually, I kind of like this bokeh here, right? Or I like the setup here. You get a little bit of those little bokeh balls, if you will. What was I shooting this with? I think this is with the 135 Plena f1.8 lens. Yeah, the shot ended up being pretty cool. It's very important not to get cynical. I'm definitely not the cynical type. Or I'm like a forever optimist, I think. To the chagrin of a lot of my friends. Because like, you know what? Just, why do you always have to see the, put on the bright side? Or, that kind of stuff. Sometimes you're just like, life is shit and you should just be like, yeah, it sucks. The hate the player, hate the game. Is that what it is? Don't hate the player, hate the game. Yeah. The hate the player, hate the game phrase is what I was referring to. Yeah, I prefer your new crop. Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. I like it as well. All right.
The product placement model will definitely work. Now, I think it's a little early and it's really hard to, because you can't be like, hey, look over, they did it. They got ROI on their investment. Like, give me money and I'll put your product in my, it's very hard because that hasn't really happened in the YouTube world yet. But if there are more eyeballs in YouTube world than there are in Hollywood feature film world, you can bet that advertising is going to slowly come over. But the second way is 100% doable, and I've found it to be much easier. Now, it doesn't still maybe solve the like really high budget stuff, but it is way easier to just build a strong brand, grow an audience on YouTube, and make money through AdSense, affiliates, courses, digital products, and brand deals. And then you take that brand deal money and you make the project that you want. And it might be a slower route, but that might actually be also.
I need brand deals. Hold on. What was he saying here? Build a strong brand, grow an audience, make your own money. Hold on. I missed a few things.
Doable, and I've found it to be much.
Fed says, I have a feeling advertisers know about ad blockers. I've never used ad blockers. Just like I don't know. Well, okay, listen. Point of privilege here. I do have YouTube Premium, so I guess I had the money to not have the ads. Although on Twitch, That thing annoys me. What's happening? King Kruk is in the chat. King says this is the most I have seen of that influencer. Yes, man, I've been watching a lot of his stuff. I haven't seen his brother's stuff though, so we will try to balance it out in a bit. Hopefully you're having a good day, King Kruk. Happy Tuesday.
Easier now, it doesn't still maybe solve the like really high budget stuff, but it is way easier to just build a strong brand, grow an audience on YouTube, and make money through AdSense, affiliates, courses, digital products, and brand deals. And
courses and digital products. I have my presets. I need to properly make some LUTs so that I could package it and sell that. It behooves me to do that. And then the courses, that was a thought that I had at some point, and it's still there, where I want to make my own like online course. But the only problem I have with that is just like with AI, right? So now going back to the AI conversation, sometimes I wonder if even that's going to be somewhat unnecessary, because like if someone wants to learn anything that I do, they're probably better off just asking ChatGPT or Claude or whatever to have like a conversational way to get to the answer. And I don't even fault them for that, because that's what I do as well, right? It's like you can watch a tutorial video and it could be really excellent, but it won't ever one-to-one be your situation, your problem that you're trying to face. So what happens when you have 70 or 85% of what they're sharing with you as a tutorial video, it works for your needs, but then there's a few things that all of a sudden breaks and you don't know how to get the settings right, or you don't know how to fix it for your stuff. Well, you can't, the chance of you being able to reach out to a Mati or a YouTuber who's making these tutorial videos and getting them to respond to you immediately so you can keep moving forward, I mean, obviously that's not going to happen. So that's where like having ChatGPT, where you can have a conversation and it responds to, like, it's somehow smart enough to know the context and the nuances of what you're saying. Man, I just don't see the time that I'll spend putting a course together. It may not be the best use of my time, because by then all tutorials and stuff like that will just be better. People will just find it more useful to use AI. So that's been one area where I'm just like questioning, like, do I still go that direction? Yeah, anyways. Yo, DTK, Do To Know is in the chat. Hey, Do To Know. You know, I was watching your video earlier, and like I said, man, shout out to Do To Know. If you do not know who Do To Know is, what are you, 13 years old? Is that what you said? Man, your YouTube videos, it's definitely one of those things where it makes me realize you give me hope for the next generation, but it also makes me feel like I have no excuses when it comes to creating content and just getting comfortable making different types of content, as well as learning how to edit and, you know, put it all together. Your stuff is very good, man. So, yeah, how you doing? Maple says, making an online course as someone who's not an expert or has educational experience. If you're designing a course based off of your ChatGPT searches, don't bother. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I do have, as much as I was saying I'm not an expert on most things, I have actually given a number of workshops, like classroom workshops. I have actually done a number of presentations where I break down different topics, usually beginner level of like, you know, XYZ, photography, video stuff. But I do a good job of it. Like, you know, this is where I will pat myself in the back. I think I do a decent job of making an engaging workshop to teach people something. And so, yeah, I think that's one of my strengths that I can apply where, yeah, I think doing these types of classroom stuff is fun for me. And it's just a matter, though, of like, yeah, the time I take to make that, it just comes down to like, if someone's going to watch my online course, at some point they're paying money just to get to know me or to support me more than actually getting the best knowledge possible to be better at what they're doing. So at that point, it might be better if I promote like a Patreon or something else like that, where it's like, look, you know, yeah. Making a course looking at legit education series. Yeah. It's just hard to compete against that, but you can share your personal knowledge for sure. Too many YouTuber courses that are essentially just glorified summaries of YouTube videos. They're capitalizing on their expertise and making money off courses, even if the content is not actually anything you can't find in a random YouTube search. Yes, exactly. Yeah, unless I feel like I have a proper niche. It is one of those where it's like you're dropping the bucket of all the others. DTK says, did you find any Nikon ZR footage? Oh, I did. I do have some. So I'm happy to share it with you. If you can just pop a DM to me, and then I'll see if I can just grab one of those and send it over to you. It might not be the best footage, but I think I have some that I can share with you. You need to have a strong fundamental understanding of whatever you're sharing. It's easy to be a guest speaker with fun, engaging vibes, but to teach something is much deeper. Yes, I agree. You can be a good speaker, you can be a good entertainer, but it doesn't mean you're someone who can actually share that knowledge properly. The videos you have watched from me are Nikon ZR. Oh, yeah. Fed has plenty of also. Yeah, actually, DTK, honestly, Fed might have better content for you to play around with because he's got a lot of low light footage as well that could be more stress testing. So yeah. King says, forgive me to Fed. I keep forgetting owning a cinema camera makes one supreme leader. Yes. Nice. Okay, let's finish this video. It's only 12 minutes.
Make the project that you want. And it might be a slower route, but that might actually be also better. Just like taking the audience along on the behind the scenes of how you made this project happen and all that stuff. And it's going to give you, again, tons of creative freedom because like the brands aren't going to be involved in the actual like the show or the documentary that you're trying to make. And so you can monetize kind of around it, but you don't monetize the thing. And so therefore it stays like super pure creatively. We actually did this with Danny Gewirtz and his feature film. No brand got any like say in the actual movie, but we did monetize around it, the behind the scenes and all of the stuff around it, took footage from it and did tutorials or whatever.
Oh wait, that's a good strategy, I think, right? So he's saying like, okay, if you had a film project, but you can't really monetize it, but you can monetize the behind the scenes and stuff like that. That's actually something I need to keep in mind, even right now. I mentioned I have a few projects coming up. I'll be traveling almost nonstop throughout March and April. And I wish I had a film crew. But at the very least, I need to keep an eye out for like trying to capture as much behind the scenes moment. I'll have to put together like shot lists for each of these trips of like what are the footage I need, including getting those shots from the backpack's perspective and some of those film projects I mentioned. But then, yeah, monetizing the behind the scenes and sharing that as a way to actually be a sustainable business. Okay. Fed's asking to DTK, do you mean ungraded? I just have finished videos, but they were all shot in log. Yeah, I think DTK was asking for some log footage so that he can test around and play with it. So DTK, I'm happy to send you some. I even like from my recent stuff I'm filming from my home studio, I can just share one of those and, just a tidbit, because the files are huge, right? So it might just be like I can send you a few seconds worth of some video clip. But yeah, I'm happy to do that. King says, I found the next lens I'm getting. Oh, yo, do tell. I got my Viltrox. I just got the Viltrox 14mm f4 lens. So that's a new lens in my toolkit. Very happy with it. Very excited. And there's a few other things I need to... Okay, let me pause on this because we're not going to get anywhere with my video, am I? I don't think I'm going to do any Mongolia video editing today. It's already almost 10 p.m. Earlier videos are B-raw though, says Fed. DTK says, yeah, they are huge. Yes, they are massive files. So just keep that in mind.
This is way Danny Gewirtz and his feature involved in the actual like the show or the documentary that you're trying to make. And so you can monetize kind of around it, but you don't monetize the thing. And so therefore it stays like super pure creatively. We actually did this with Danny Gewirtz and his feature film. No brand got any like say in the actual movie, but we did monetize around it, the behind the scenes and all of the stuff around it, took footage from it and did tutorials or whatever. This is way more doable, and it kind of works very synergistically, or whatever you want to call it, where if you're taking the audience along on the journey, by the time you finish the project, they are just going to be ripe and ready to consume and watch your project. So your audience is even more built in and ready to go than ever before. So yeah, I don't think that filmmakers need Hollywood right now. And I'm not saying that Hollywood is bad or whatever. I just don't think that filmmakers actually need Hollywood. And I think a lot of people are, that's what they're wanting to go towards. And it might actually be a bit of a fool's errand. Every time I go to LA, I just can't help but feel like there's so many talented, incredible people there. and it just feels like a lot of them are struggling and barely making ends meet. Meanwhile, somebody's making money, somebody's making a lot of money, and to me it just feels like a no-brainer that maybe you should take some of that money for yourself, and maybe take all of that money for yourself, and at the same time grab the creative freedom, creative control. All right, please go and watch the mini doc I made. I think it's
Okay. Well, listen, I appreciate Mati, because from this one video, we got like an hour of content out of this 12-minute video, and it sparked a lot of good conversations. So maybe, you know what? Maybe that was Mati's goal this whole time, was to trigger a conversation. Okay. So, King says the lens that he got is a Zeiss Otis ML35, just announced, which means I'm getting the 50 and the 85 as well. What is this Zeiss Otis ML35? DTK says you watched this video, is so good. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Markiplier made it work, so now nobody needs Hollywood. Just like all the films will be shot on FX3 now, since Gareth Edwards did it. Who is Gareth Edwards? Gareth Edwards. He's a British film director, screenwriter, visual, blah 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 blah, including Monsters. Have I seen this? I don't think so. Godzilla. I've seen some Godzilla. I don't know if it's that one. Oh, he did the Rogue One. Okay, is that the one that I actually enjoyed watching? I mean, I've enjoyed all of the Star Wars just for like casual watching. I've never been like a super Star Wars guy. That's definitely not the thing that I geeked out about. Rogue One. I think that's the one I enjoyed though. I say that I think this is the one I enjoyed more than the others, because I thought the story was actually like pretty fire. And it was like pretty unconventional, I thought, in terms of like even the ending and all that. Okay, yeah, I think this is the one. That was good. So you're saying he shot something with the Sony FX3? Oh, you're explaining. Let me see. Skull Bazaar says 12 minutes into 60 minutes, not bad. Yes. See, look, this is why you should follow me. This is why I'll be a good content creator / live streamer. Okay, we know how to milk things, and I think that's one of the biggest requirements if you're gonna do these long form stream stuff. Right? We can milk the shit out of any video. Hollywood is morphing, but not disappearing. These people from Canada think they're getting the next cinema hotspot. Does Canada have a Hollywood? Maplewood. There we go, Maple. If you're still in the chat. Gareth Edwards shot The Creator using FX3, so then we got tons of content creators claiming we don't need anything better than the FX3. The Creator. What is this movie? Did it just come out? The Creator, Gareth Edwards. Oh, this movie. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't actually remember if I finished this movie. And unfortunately, I think that's a sign that the movie is not good. At least to me. Or like it wasn't memorable enough for me to even remember if I finished it. I think I think I bought this. I have it on Apple TV. I watched it. I don't know what the ending was. So I don't think I finished it. I don't mean to like knock on it. I think it was fun to watch, but maybe it was just one of those. When it comes to sci-fi, there's so many good sci-fi action movies that at some point, if it can feel like it takes a lot more for me to be like, okay, can you interest me with whatever your spin on this sci-fi world is? Okay, maybe I'd need to rewatch this or something. Oh, you know what? I should rewatch it because now I'm curious. What does the footage look like with an FX3? So just for my own, that should be something useful for me to learn anyways, or to be aware of. King says, Fed, I need to go ASAP. I need to test out the bike escalator. Interesting. That's in Trondheim, isn't it? Did you try the bike escalator? I have not. What the heck is that? I didn't like The Creator, and you can clearly see it was shot in 12,800 in darker scenes. Very blotchy in the spots. Okay. Okay, anyways, The Creator, I know about this guy. So he did this thing. Gotcha. Zeiss Otis ML35. So I think this is the one that King Kruk was mentioning. 35mm f1.4. Well, damn, that's an expensive lens. Holy Christ. Wait, is that more expensive than the one I just bought? I bought the Nikon 35mm f1.2 S lens. I think it's roughly the same price. $2,600, $2,300. Okay. But my assumption is that this is going to be much lighter, and it's a f1.4, which is like already pretty fantastic. So, okay. Anywho, that looks cool. So thank you, Mati, for a wonderful 1 hour long video. We salute you for it. So before I switch over into video mode, here's my thought process behind this photo. As of now, so I already mentioned how I was doing the framing. I think we landed on this kind of composition. I wouldn't be able to explain to you why, if there's some kind of like technical reason why. I don't know if there's some kind of rule of thirds thing that applies here. Maybe, I don't know. But in terms of the positioning of it, it just feels right to have the monkey kind of weighted off to the left because his body is kind of in that direction. But then he does this weird 90-degree angle where his head is now pointing off to the top right. So for some reason, it feels good to have the monkey off in this kind of direction or this angle. And in the background, we do see these like tree trunks that are quite blurry, which ultimately, I guess, turn into a bit of leading lines. So we do have some nice diagonal leading lines, at least just going off in a similar direction, just to not make it feel too chaotic. So we got some interesting patterned background behind. Then we've got the monkey positioned where I have him. And then in terms of, I guess, creative decisioning here, I decided to soften the background even more. And then I'm playing around with a bit of like a duotone style here. So you can see I added a linear gradient on the top right going downwards, and I cooled down the temperature quite a bit. So we get a bit more of like this kind of cool bluish tones off on this direction. And then I cast a linear gradient over here to mimic more of like sunlight coming through to kind of amplify the already very bright highlights behind the monkey over here. So basically I'm trying to lean into the effect that the sun is kind of coming through from the left side, top left. And then with that in mind, I figured if there is a temperature to it, it should be a bit warmer to mimic like the sunlight. So then it kind of can also help separate the subject from the background. So we get a bit of this kind of warm sunlight bathing the monkey, and then we have more of this cool tones kind of hidden in, in the tree canopies and a little bit of the blue sky over there. So there you go. That's my thought process. Here's where we landed. Generally, if this was like a 5-star photo that I wanted to spend more time in perfecting, this is where I would do the little bit of like, I would take a brush. I'll probably still do, just kind of clean up the eyes a bit, where I'll create a bit of a brush spot on the eyes just to make it a bit more, to make it stand out a bit more, and then add a bit more contrast to the body. Maybe try to separate it out from the branch here. So make the arms feel obviously separated from this branch. So that could be some stuff that I do, so it doesn't look too weird, this hand that's like sticking out from the tree branch. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, this is like where I probably would have said like, okay, we're good, let's move on to the next photo. So unless it's like a 5-star photo, I need to train myself to be faster with like these guys. Anyways, they used the camera more because they devised a rig they wanted to use. So I see why they did it. Now you could do that with the ZR though for better files. Are you going to Japan to see Punch Monkey? Oh my god, man. I've been so obsessed with all the content around the Punch Monkey. Or is it just called Baby Punch? I would love to go there. Yeah, film that. Although, it's like, is it worth it? Because, Punch is just in a zoo enclosure. And for what it's worth, that enclosure looks so drab and like depressing. It's like, my God, are you telling me all these footage that we see of Baby Punch is like coming from days of like strangers posting online from what they, what experience they got with the monkey? Everything I see about that enclosure is like, it feels pretty sad. Like, do they even have any trees? Is there any like canopy? Is it just like broad daylight and they just get like, is there like, I don't know, it just looked like a bunch of rocks and sand, and that was it. I didn't, maybe they just don't show it in the viral clips. I was like, man, if these are what the monkeys are living in every day, oof, that's a bit depressing. King says, might make it to Korea this year. If not, I'll have to be there next year. Oh man, you will enjoy that for sure. I miss the Korean food for sure. But I do hope to go to Japan again, maybe in the wintertime or maybe summer for the bears. JS Bultwan says, where the editing? Well, thank you for being here. The editing is now. Well, I have been editing a little bit of some of the photos. So I've been just kind of doing a bit of casual photo edits, but I'm about to shift gears and go into the video side of things. So these are photos from a trip to Sri Lanka from a few years back. And this is a trip to Mongolia from a few years back. And I'm trying to make my way through all of my travel clips and travel footage, turn them into some hopefully useful, valuable vlogs and yeah, stuff like that. But thank you for asking. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. King says, I tried kimbap and bibimbap. Bibimbap. That's good stuff. Yeah, bibimbap's okay. It's not one of those where I like crave it because it's like really healthy. But hells yeah, kimbap. Speaking of, kimbap is not here. What the heck? Where are you, kimbap? Kimbap. Sorry. Where are you, kimbap? All right, so kimbap's not here, but there's a reason I named him such. All right. And there's Nala. Will you bring a camera and film for us? Asking King. Yes, of course you should. We need multiple angle ZR from Korea. Man, there's some good footage of Korea. Autumn time, that looked amazing. Craving that kimchi. Yeah, I would just make a video just of the Korean food for sure. All right, so let's get some editing in. It is now almost 10 p.m. my time, and we have yet to touch this video, and we've been sitting on this for way too long. So here we go. This is the opening scene. Let's go ahead and pause the music. And let's go ahead and kick off the TikTok. I'm still experimenting with TikTok lives. I saw that there's a point where if you do live streams for 180 days or something like that. Shoot, I need to look into that again. But there was something where if you like live stream for 180 days, then they'll give you access to the stream key, which means then I could absorb it into my OBS. So I'm hoping we can get to that point. Editing my travel videos, wildlife travel videos, and photo. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and play this. Editing, TriCam. Let me set this up properly. All right, here we go. So now we're just gonna play this from the beginning, and then let's kick some ass. Let's get this video out of the way. Okay, so obviously not much change there except for adding the narration at the beginning. Fez says Kimbap is missing in action. Yeah, these days it seems like right around this time he kind of dips off for a bit. But you know, it's like, you know, Cat's gonna do what Cat's gonna do, right? I'm not gonna force him to, you know, sit in place or whatever. You know, I'm not like those creators. Like Chuck Norris is missing in action. We were here when Jobel was small time. Now he's getting ready to film on the Raptor X. Which one is the Raptor X? Or what's the price tag on that one? The day I can shoot on all those kind of stuff. Yo, can you imagine one of these days if I'm working on a film project and I get to handle, what'd you guys call it? The airy something something? That's how you know we made it big. The new 70 to 200 2.8 looks intriguing. Are you getting a unit to test for us? I didn't even know about this. There's a new 70 to 200? What do you mean? A new 70 to 200. A Nikon 7200? New 70 to 200 millimeter f2.8. Nikon. 3 hours ago. Nikon 70 to 200 f2.8 S2 lens. What? No shot. Chasing a lighter, smaller design, faster. Wait, is this what you're talking about? Am I missing something? Nikon releases the Nikkor. Hold on a minute. Yo, I'm about to dial up my Nikon contacts. Be like, yo, help a brother out, you know? Nikon releases the 70 to 200. Sorry, guys. I know we were about to start some video editing, but this kind of takes precedent. This is big news. I might need this in my arsenal. King says, I know this Mongolian song word by word. I sing along every time. Dude, I feel like I know Mongolian. Is Mongolian even a language? Oh my God. I'm so ignorant. Is Mongolian a language? I'm pretty sure they're actually Kazakh, though. I'm pretty sure they're speaking Kazakh language. Yes, Mongolian is a language. Okay, thank God. But I think they're speaking Kazakh. Is Kazakh a language? Yes. Cool. Okay. Yes, by the end of this, I think right now I speak half Kazakh, King. I'm with you. The Mac 2. I saw the Aussie guy did a long form video on it earlier today. The Aussie with the yellow Nikon glasses. I don't know who that is. Okay, it's a fast telephoto zoom lens that combines significant weight reduction. This is huge. I mean, if it is actually significant, this is what I care about. If they can drop the weight and the size for sure, but for sure the weight with outstanding rendering capabilities and next generation high performance autofocus. As I guess I need to know the comparison. How does this compare against the original? Because obviously I have the original. As part of the S line, the lightest in its class with the weight of just basically 1 kg that covers 7200, 2.8s. Moving components have been completely revamped for a significant reduction in weight of approximately 26%. Oh, damn, son. This further increases mobility during long shoots and supports a variety of shooting styles. The Silky Swift VCM, whatever that is, has been adopted for the autofocus drive system for highly precise, smooth, and quiet autofocus. It's approximately 3.5 times faster autofocus. And autofocus tracking performance with zooming is roughly 40% better than that of the current 70 to 200, enabling more accurate focusing on rapidly moving subjects such as athletes, blah, blah, blah. Number of lens elements been reduced. Some kind of new ED and a spherical. Okay, none of this means much to me, unfortunately. Okay. You know what, King? This is how. Hopefully, you'll know I made it big when this kind of press release comes out. It says copyright Yobel right here. My name, my man. I would pop up right here. Okay. Listen, I'm a huge fan of the 70 to 200. Although as I've been doing more filmmaking stuff, I feel like I've been relying on it a bit less. But just for reference, one of my best clips that I captured, I guess I could just show it from here. Give me a second. (2026). Where is it? Where is she? 2025 mini series. Here we go. Okay, so this whole video here, This was shot with the 70 to 200 f2.8. I guess the first version, the S1. So yeah, like, sorry, I'm rewatching this one because I like this obviously, but I'm also trying to remind myself. I'm just trying to double check how good it was with the autofocus, because I had this on autofocus for the most part, and yeah, you know what? Because I feel like I've been spoiled now with the 85 millimeter lens, where I've just been enjoying using the prime lens always, but I can't factor out the versatility of a 70 to 200 or the 24 to 70 as well, right? So for filmmaking, I feel like I should probably just rely on a 70 to 200 and a 24 to 70 for majority of my needs. And a 70 to 200 in the jungle, especially if it's lighter, oh my God, if it's lighter, that would help out significantly if I'm shooting gorillas with the 7200. And oh yeah, and it could even be the thing that I put on the side pouch. So I'd have the 400, or actually we'll see what I do, but it could be for the gorilla treks, it probably is a 70 to 200 on the chest, on the cotton carrier in front, and then it might be like a 85 lens or whatever, something on the second one. Imagine how much better the performance will be on the next gen Nikon bodies. Yeah, I'm excited. Sorry, Irwin, not Irwin. Oh, hold on. I saw his review as well, probably the best one because he's a Nikon user. Oh, is it Steve Irwin? Wait, no. Robert Irwin? Or the son of Steve Irwin? I would love to work with that guy. That guy looks like a standout guy, and he just has the coolest experience, good shots. Imagine how much better the performance will be. Yes, I will try the 7200 as soon as I can. There's a few things I want to test out. I just want to see your review, since you could get it before I do. You know what? I would be a bad creator if I don't go at right now and like ask them if I can borrow the lens. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. Who can I ask? I'm about to send a WhatsApp right now with two things. One. Another. Saw the announcement of the new. Okay. All right. Listen, I just threw my hat in the ring, if you will, to see if I can get at the very least, if I can get my hands on it, even if it's just for a day. Because now I feel like I'm more confident to say, like, even if I need to make a very, very brief first impressions type video about the lens, might as well do that. But my hope would be is like if I can travel with that lens for the gorillas, that would be the number one priority. Because the 70 to 200 lens is probably the best range, and that 2.8 lens is probably the best lens if you had to only have one to take with you on a gorilla trek. That is what you want. And the lighter it is, obviously even better. If it's faster autofocus, even better. Attach it to a Nikon ZR, even better, right? So like I feel like I'd be able to get some really cool shots out of that. Skull said, I used to do some hobby photography, but then life got lifing. I hear you on the lifing. I miss the going out just to take some photos. Yeah. It's a privilege. And I say this in my... Oh, guys, I mentioned my next YouTube video is releasing tomorrow around the Behind the Lens series. And in that episode, I do actually talk a little bit about how I feel about traveling. And I feel it's almost like a duty because I do have that U.S. passport. I'm originally from the States. And it's one of those things that you realize how valuable it is to have something like a U.S. passport, right? Or just how crazy it is that depending on where you're born in the world, it can make a huge difference, even if it has nothing to do about your talents or anything. But you could be born just across the border from another person, and have the same exact like smarts and everything, opportunity, whatever, but like one of you can travel the world and the other cannot, right? And it's kind of crazy to me. So I remember having these moments in my earlier travels where I met people around the world. I met someone, she's from like a small town of Brazil. We all met a bunch of us met each other in Prague when I was doing this one around the world trip. And, at some point we were like, oh, you need to come visit us in San Francisco. And she's like, oh, I would love to, but we've got a lottery system. It's like basically explaining to me how privileged and how naive I was of like, it's not that easy to just travel back and forth. Most countries, you got to go through the freaking visa system and get accepted or have some lottery, and you might not even, it's not guaranteed. I was like, oh, damn. So I do view it as like as a duty at times where if I have the ability to travel and I choose not to, I almost feel like it's a little bit of I feel a little bad about that at the very least. So going out to be the ability to take photos, it is a blessing for sure. So don't take it lightly, but if you're not able to do it, it's also one of those where it's like, it's not to feel bad, but it's more just like anytime you did have the opportunity to go out and shoot photos and stuff, it was like a unique, rare thing that most people don't even have the chance to do. So Matt Irwin, not he is way too old to be Steve Irwin's son. I think Irwin is quite common in Aussie land. Okay, whoops. King says, Jobel, I want to hold you accountable to a higher standard than I do with other creators. You are our guy. Hope you understand why I push you. Oh yeah. I mean, man, that's good. What do you call it? That's good motivation for me. So please do. The fact that you guys would be willing or interested to kind of push me to be better at my craft, I take that all in the positive light. I always watch his reviews of Nikon lenses before buying. He always shows it instead of just talking about lab tests of absolute sharpness. Yeah, I've seen some videos where they do those like testing of like the sharpness levels and stuff like that. And not to, it doesn't mean much to me, or it's like I get lost. It doesn't mean anything. I trust them on it though. And I was like, okay, sure, if you say so. But if there's one thing I've been learning as I've gone down this journey of being a creator and traveling and photography, it's like having the best technique, like on paper, the best specs doesn't always mean the best experience. So everyone has different needs. Like I said, even something like having, 30% lighter than the other version, that can help me out tremendously for my niche of, let's say, wildlife stuff. So that matters more than, let's say, the sharpness of the image, if it's marginal or incremental. Okay, so where were we? Let's play this out. Sing along, everyone. We all know the lyrics now. I'm probably like saying words that are cursing out someone. So none of this, I think, needs to change. I think we're in a good spot with this. Except for the adding a bit of dialogue in the beginning. Fed says, yeah, I'd rather have a lighter lens than one that has absolute sharpness in the corners at f1.2. Yeah, because that's like the major trade-off of these 1.2 lenses, right? It's like, it's so heavy. And I don't know if it's the same for Sony and Canon. I remember at one point, some Sony user saw me carrying around the 85 1.2, and they're like, wow, that's the 85 1.2? I'm like, yeah. It's like, man, this thing is so much bigger and heavier than my Sony one. It was either Sony or Canon guy. So it made me feel bad in the moment. But I think the glassware is, fantastic and like surpasses whatever the other guys have. But it is heavier, so... Okay, so this part isn't going to change. We'll add the voiceover, we'll add the music, we'll play this out probably in this speed. So this will be intermission number 1. We see the eagle coming in for a landing, just to add a bit of just a level of excitement, let's hope. And I whisper a few words of context and why we're here today. We are gathered here today to watch the story of XYZ. And this is the chapter we're still working on, but we did make some progress. I feel much more comfortable about the direction. So let's figure it out. So we need to work on these clips, figure out the right durations and the moments. So this one kind of plays out for a bit. So then we have all of this open space here. I guess I just let the song play so I can get a sense of how much time we're passing here. King says, Nikon 1.2S lenses when I want autofocus, which I keep using less. I usually like to go manual for photography and video. For wildlife, autofocus all day. Yeah, always. I need Brody to teach us how to hit those notes. Man, it comes from the chest. It comes from the heart. But you got to be a real man to be able to do that. Whatever it is. Dude, that throat singing, I don't know how you do that without losing your voice. Yeah. Okay, even this one I think we can cut a bit sooner. Let's listen to the music. So somewhere, even like here, I think we can cut it around here. And then I don't know why, but this video clip does this weird... I don't know what's causing that. Maybe I just got to reset everything on the transform. One 1.3? No. 1.3. Oh, it's a different... Okay, let me see. Yeah, why does it do this thing? What am I missing here? What's causing this clip to go from full screen to dropping here? That's not right. Cropping? I don't understand what causes that. Is that from the original? Is this... Let me see. Could be in the original as well, but the problem is I cut it before I see it, so let's see. If we extend it out, what do we get? Sounds like drums can't replicate it. Also, how do gorillas hit those notes when they beat their chest? Sounds like, oh, I see. You know what? That's life's greatest mysteries, but I will tell you one thing I'm never going to do, and that's beat my drums, my chest, in front of a silverback gorilla. I guess that would probably be one of the fastest ways to exit this world, in my line of business, I guess. But if I do end up doing that, I will promise you the cameras will be rolling. So at the very least, you guys will get some 12-bit, R3D red color science video of me getting mauled to death. Yeah, okay, so even here, it's doing this weird cropping. Wait, was this always the situation? Did I do something wrong here? Let's see. What is causing that issue? Let's go to the original source. Let me just find an empty part of the timeline. Let's drag this over. When did it happen? Where is the flight? Okay, there we go. So somewhere around here. Okay, now I'm thoroughly confused because here, when I do 1.3, it's not fully cropped, or it doesn't take up the entire space anywhere, so I have to zoom in more. But then in the footage that I was playing with, it's full screen at 1.3. I must be missing something so obviously. There's something I'm missing. It's like so in my face of like, clearly you're doing so. Oh, okay. Huh. So the original footage, I must have exported it like this. Is that right? Guys, I'm lost in the sauce. I don't know what's causing this issue, and let's see. If I zoom out. Okay. I don't know what I did there, but we'll just use this clip then. Unfortunately, I gotta figure out how to sync it up again. Oh my god, so much work, and I don't know if I'm gonna figure this out. Are you going to 911 GTS or AMG GT63 or Volvo? When Timothy Threadwell and his poor girlfriend were eaten by the grizzly, I think they only recorded the audio. Imagine if you had a Nikon ZR back then. 32-bit float. Yeah, nobody wants to hear your screaming clipped, you know? Then you can't post it as ASMR. Gorilla eating man ASMR. If that doesn't hit like 50 million views at least, then are you even trying, you know? Isn't that the real question? Okay, let me bring this file over here. Unfortunately, I must have done something that caused some kind of issue, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to figure this out. Okay, what if let's look at the clip below. You know what, looking at this back to back, I do feel like this kind of split screen view is just not as good. Or, I mean, it feels nice because you can see two different angles of the same thing, but in some ways I feel like you end up with the worst of both worlds, because you haven't committed to showing the full immersive experience of just one. It might dilute the experience a bit here. That's my current thinking. I feel like it might look better to do what we're trying to figure out now, which is have it fade in from one shot to the next. And the only issue now is trying to figure out why this clip looks the way it does. And I can't remember what I might have done to make this happen. Oh, okay, I think I fixed it. It was just a freaking stabilization thing. Was that really the thing that caused it? Here, let's see. Oh my god, then I'm an idiot. Hold on, let's redo that. Come back, come back. Okay. Let's try again. Skull says, time to close shop for me. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you very much, Skull Bazaar. Thank you for the support across all the channels today. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for a lively stream today. Okay, so we resolved one issue, and then the other question becomes, do we end up cropping too much? So I might need to drop the cropping ratio and the strength. Let's see. Okay, I think that's not bad. So I think we've got the ending shot, and now we just got to figure out the middle shots here, tie it up nicely. So we will keep a little bit of this kind of venturing forward into the mountains, that transition as we go from one horse shot to the next shot. And then here I need to cut this up better. And I have to see if I have more footage. Oh yeah, and then we will have the eagle shots I need to throw in there as well. Where are they? Where are the eagle shots? Oh, and you know what? I feel like this is where I could possibly just take all the clips I've already edited here. So let's say if I take from here, let's just copy all this over. Chances are I'm not going to use it one for one, but you never know, right? So let's go over here. Let's clear up some space now. Hopefully this is enough space. Yes. Oh, plenty, plenty. And I'm just going to delete the sounds from this one. I don't think these are necessary. Which then makes it simpler for me to figure out how to drag this in. Let's just like slap it in here and see how it looks. All right, fingers crossed. Fed says, oh, sorry, I missed, why does the chat keep jumping over here on my interface? Fed says, Marcus Pix has a new video about how content creators need to stop using all kinds of mics not meant for holding in their videos. Says to stop, and it's embarrassing. What do you mean? What do you mean not meant for holding in their videos? Oh, you mean like when people... Do I have it in front of me? Are you talking about like when you see the content creators holding like a Rode Wireless Pro mic and then like talking to it and then like, you know, doing interviews? Are you talking about that kind of stuff? Skull says also, since the flight is not that long, the fade could be faster. Just my 1 cent. Have a good one. Oh, thank you very much. Sorry, I didn't read it soon enough. The fade could be faster since the flight's not that long. That's a good point. Yeah, because I think it might be better to let the transition occur sooner. Because like seeing the eagles, the back of the eagle flying is not as cool as obviously seeing the GoPro version. So I think I agree with your assessment. So we just got to figure out where. I think I need to crop it just a little bit more. Okay. Well, thank you for the, I don't know if you're still here, but thank you very much. Oh, BC says, warning. Thank you. Haven't had to use that emote in a while. Yeah, it happens, man. To the best of us.
Yobel fed
Change
me,
scenes,
Yobel fed
yes,
me,
yes,
change
thank you.
scenes.
I appreciate it. But I did the thing that he asked me to do.
Change scenes.
Wow. That's how you, apparently in Spanish, if you want to say gorilla emote, there you go. I think what he means when people hold the mics. Fed says, oh wait, it's actually about a newer trend about using an absurdly tiny flash and claiming it looks great. Wait, what are we talking about here? Flash? Wait, are you talking about audio stuff or are you talking about lighting stuff? I'm mixed up now. I think he means when people hold the mics that should be clipped on, like the lapel mics. Haven't had to use... the image he used for the video looked like he was holding a tiny mic, but it was a tiny flash. Interesting. I didn't even know people hold on to tiny lights for their footage. Oh, wait, but is that relevant to what you shoot? Because I know, are you talking about, like, is that anything to do with what you're talking about with your lantern? But anyways, I don't know. All right, I'm just going to let this play out as is, and let's just see if it even makes sense. It kind of works, besides the random fade I need to fix. You know what? Obviously, we'll tweak it here and there just in terms of the durations of some of those clips, but I think it works quite nicely. And again, in the name of trying to not be perfectionist and stuff like that, I think just using those clips as I have it as much as possible makes sense, because I have to keep, I said it before, but this is not necessarily episode 2. It's not an extension of the first episode. This is a completely different video from my first video about Mongolia. So I'm okay to repurpose things to tell a different flavor of a story. So this is almost like taking the best of all of my shots, mixing in with now these like raw soundtracks of Mongolians singing, and then putting it together. But story-wise, I think this visually makes sense because I'm mixing in a bit of okay, we go from they're standing before the hunt starts, close-ups. Then they depart. So now we see as we're off on the hunt, climbing up the mountain, trekking forward, eventually disembarking, and then getting closer to the eagles. Obviously, this fade we need to fix, but the point is we then go from the eagle is released, and now you see it kind of roaming around on its own, searching, doing its thing, before ultimately taking off, going into the air in search. The assumption would be in search of the prey. It's on its hunt, and then it kind of comes towards us. And then here, I think if I added some of these types of clips, I don't see why this wouldn't work. Although, yeah, same thing. I guess I need to triple check if it properly make sense. But it could just be shots of the eagles again. This could actually occur before the flights. But the problem is if I have these eagle shots in flight, and then right after this moment, if I go into another flying moment, I feel like maybe that can also feel a bit jarring because you just saw it flying in the air, but now it's not in flight. And
My
then about
one
to fly
true
again.
obsession,
You know what I mean? So
but
like,
Nikon can hang in the right lighting
My one true
conditions.
obsession, but Nikon can hang in the right lighting conditions.
that kind of sounds like a nice rap song, so I accept what you said. I disagree full-heartedly, but yes. So, oh, okay, alternative. Oh, hey, we do have an alternative. Boom. Sometimes, you know, you just land on the right things, and it feels good. Instead of showing this moment here, where you see the eagle taking off
king of my
from
shelf,
the hunter,
but Nikon ain't bad.
I just-
Don't tell Canon I said that
King of
myself.
myself, but Nikon ain't bad.
ain't bad.
Don't tell Canon I said that myself.
Ain't. Wow, I've discovered a new way to say that word. I might have to do that from now on. But Nikon, ain't bad. Fed says, I think you need to make a video in the dark jungle with a tiny flash to light it up and explain how great it works. You know what? I have a video coming up where I have a few videos where I'm going to be showing like low light, and there's like a selfie footage that I have where I have like one of those headlights on my hat, and I took some selfie footage with the Nikon Z6 III. And so yeah, anyway, I do have some shots is what I'm saying with a tiny flash on my head in a forest, very dark. I'm thinking basically if this is the final, if this shot here, you see the eagle flying, and if I transition from that shot to this shot, then there's a bit more continuity of just like a continuous eagle in flight kind of a footage. Obviously, it's different moments because now there's a GoPro on her head, but that's fine because we're showing this kind of transition for the finale of this verse where you get to actually see the perspective of the eagle coming in and then ending it there. So that means I would have to cut out this part here where you see the takeoff. Even though I think the takeoff has its own value to the story, it's going to be a bit too jarring to see eagle in flight, back to perched, and then flying again. So unless I can show this somewhere in the beginning before the flight. So it could happen here. But the thing is, like, these shots look clearly one and the same, right? There's like a consistency to the color grading. It's all from the same moment, if you will. So I feel like this just makes more sense to show this kind of takeoff going into a bit more of the flying. Whereas the lighting here was not so good because it was a bit more midday sunlight blasting right into the face. So it's not even a good colors comparatively. All right, so we have our answer. So basically it's going to go from these shots. So what'll happen here is boom, 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 boom. I'm going to drag these guys over for now. Let's just be crude with it. And then where's the... We want these clips. So some duration of these kind of moments cut up a bit. Let's just cut it up now just to see what we've got. roughly something like this. Okay, this is not exactly it, but just for the sake of seeing how it kind of looks, let's go ahead and let's play it from the beginning, yeah? There we go. Ooh, if I can sync the bird's mouth opening up with the song, that could be nice. Okay, so obviously we need a bit of tuning up and everything, but sequence-wise, I think it's roughly there. I'm sure there's a few extra clips or moments I should like rearrange, but I think we ultimately have most of the skeleton here, so I'm happy with that. Fed says you're gonna blow up making that tiny live video for sure, and by that I mean become YouTube famous, not actually blow up. Yeah. Then you make a follow video entitled "The Search for Kimbap," utilizing a tiny flash. I have no idea what this tiny flash you're talking about. I didn't know it's such a controversial thing. But, you know, the more you know. Okay, well, listen, guys. It is now 10:42 p.m. So I think this is probably a good time for me to just start to chill. Did I eat dinner already? I did have dinner already, damn it. But I might have a slight snack, okay? I feel like I've been doing okay with the dieting. Gym has been good. I'll be going back tomorrow. So we're sticking with our consistency with working out, trying to get back in shape and all that fun stuff. What else? What are the other key things? Well, again, quick recap. Today's been great. Thank you for a wonderful stream. We've made some new friends along the way, as they say, right? The Twitch stream, out of everything. Oh, sorry, not Twitch. The Kick stream. My bad. Kick started to blow up. That's new. That was unexpected. I don't know. It was pretty unexpected, but I don't think we've ever had more than 10 viewers on Kick, and it randomly just like blew up. So that was kind of cool. It was nice to have a few people in there that acknowledged that they are not bots, and they said hello. So that was great. So anyways, good stream. Thank you everyone, especially in the beginning, who just like hopped in and started following and making the energy hyped from the start. And then obviously all you OGs, always, it's very good. What is your gym supplement stack? Nothing special. I just use like 5 grams of the creatine monohydrate or whatever, like the simple, the bland creatine, and I mix it with some, is it the C4 performance, you know, like that, what do you call it, the C4 energy booster thing, and then a scoop of protein, and that's like my pre/intro workout. It's more of an intro workout than anything else, and that's it. That's like my protein supplement. BC says you just need me not sending you yummy curry. Oh man, it's been so long since I've had butter chicken or biryani and stuff, because I know how unhealthy that is. So I've been trying to keep that as far away from me as possible. But yeah, no, I've been trying. So what else? What else do I need to cover? Like I said, thank you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and end this TikTok. I'm still testing out TikTok here and there, but I'm hesitant because of all the random things that blocks my channel. But we're gonna keep going with that. All right. Butter chicken with garlic naan. Oh man, that sounds so good. Just saying those words, I feel like start to conjure up hunger. So let's stop with that. Okay, stop. Tomorrow I was supposed to do a photo shoot, but it got postponed to another day. So that should mean that's good in the sense of I just have more time to keep with my routine. I should be streaming exactly the same time, roughly, like around 7 p.m.-ish my time. I think there was some other thing I was supposed to do. Like I said, oh wait, actually timing wise. Mookie, what a name. Mookie MC. Ooh, MC. Listen, I like MCs because that's in my last name. I just got here. Can you take it from the top? Just call this one a test run? Yes, of course. Well. Welcome to day 130 of my live stream. Thanks for just coming in, guys, as we start off the stream. We've got a solid 3 hours to go. So where do we start? But Mookie, thank you very much for being here. I apologize that you're coming in as I'm leaving in hot. Coming in hot as I'm leaving out cold. Butter chicken is so good. Yeah, man. Let's stop saying that word because, like, honestly, it's getting me in a type of mood which is not conducive to being healthy. Mookie, but thank you. Mookie MC, I'm pretty sure you might be new to the stream, to my channel, because I feel like I would have remembered a name like this. Eminem, really. It's my fault, bad timing. No worries, man. Listen, like I live in Dubai, so I'm originally from the States, but because of the time zones, this is like as good as it gets, and then it gets too late for me. It is almost 11 p.m. my time right now. But thanks for being here. I will be streaming tomorrow, roughly the same time. And yeah, if you tune in, or if you'd like to see who I am as a creator, if you haven't already, I'll make sure to link in the chat my YouTube channel. You guys should absolutely subscribe there. Make sure to watch my latest video. And that was the thing I was going to mention. I completely forgot. Is Nala here? Yes, Nala. Okay. Tomorrow, I will be releasing the second episode of this new series that I'm trying out on YouTube. It's really fun for me. I'm so excited about it. And I've already filmed quite a number of them, but the goal is to publish it every week just to make it last and also to kind of make the tweaks as I need to with the concept. So your feedback is much needed. Your support is always needed, obviously. So I've already released the first episode of Behind the Lens. That was last week. And tomorrow, the second one, it will be releasing mid-afternoon my time. So before I go, before I start my stream, technically the video will release. So then, I'll go stream and hopefully you guys can let me know what you thought about it. It should be I think 4 or 5 minutes. And so yeah, just that should be something you guys can look forward to. And it's very different from the types of videos I've been publishing on YouTube to date. So it's less of the cinematic stuff. It's one that I'm using, I'm creating with the help of this editor who's very, very good. And so I'm trying to come up with some really engaging topical conversations in a way that hopefully you guys will enjoy getting to know me in the process. So it'll kind of be mini digestible live stream moments, I guess. So that's something to look forward to. Mookie says, my last name in an MC. I hope to catch you again soon. My last name is an MC. Yo, I'm telling you, I'm an MC as well. So nice. We got that bond. I get a fellow MC today, and I got a Nikon daddy to join the stream. So we're just waiting for Zaddy and the Bays to also appear. But what a day to be alive. Okay. Fun stream for sure. I think that's all I got. Okay, so tomorrow I'll see you guys. And like I said, I'm going to be blasting. Hopefully you guys will watch that second episode. Let me know your thoughts. Show it some love. Leave a comment. All of that. All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys.